has something spectacular to show us that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, and hopefully they will show us some good stuff because we are getting underway in the map on Kafe. Supremacy is going to be starting out on attack as Penta picks up the defensive squad.
Yep, and this is going to be very interesting.
So here we've got it. Starting off, we are going to see the Glass coming right out. Now, on Monday with North America, we didn't see Glass except for 1 or 2 rounds, I think.
Yeah, he was kind of put in a corner in North America. And honestly, I think a lot of people were happy about it. But at the same time, it's going to be interesting to see how it is exactly Supremacy choose to utilize him going into this particular attack. Now, on the Penta lineup, we have a Smoke, a Castle, a Mira, a Bandit, and a Valkyrie. On the Supremacy lineup, we have a Thatcher, Thermite, Hibana, Sledge, and Glass, like you talked about earlier. No real surprises. I mean, excluding the Glass, I suppose, although he's not really a surprise.
Yeah.
The Mira is going to be obviously utilized in all likelihood upstairs. Looks like Penta's going to opt to go for that draw line in the sand strategy in the freezer. We'll see if that works out for them.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
They still have a lot of other things to think about, though. I'm curious to see where those castle barricades are going to end up.
Yeah, so, I mean, the castle barricades are something we've seen be useful, but we've also seen them hurt a team before.
Well, they can hurt. They can absolutely hurt the defending team just as much as they can hurt the attacking team. It's all dependent on the placements and the fact that the team that is placing them all understand where those castle barricades are going. And I'm sure Penta have communicated where the castles are going to end up, so I don't think that'll be too much of an issue for them.
So here we have it now. Now it looks like we do have the bomb site. 2nd floor.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I'm sorry I didn't talk about that earlier. 2nd floor bomb site, 1st round. You can only guess that is Penta trying to mix up the operator pick for Supremacy. And I think it may have done the job. Or no, it did do the job. Supremacy have everything they could possibly need going into this attack.
Except a buck?
Except for a buck, I suppose, but you got the sledge, so... Zephyr going to get the first pick of the round onto Pengu. That's a big player off the board on that Smoke. No gas canisters used yet.
So keeping an eye here, this is kind of what you were mentioning before, keeping 1 or 2 players upstairs. That's going to be Goga and KS. You've got Fabi inside of Reading, and Eunice looks like he's going to be in the site. He's going to be right inside a train room getting droned out now by Zephyr.
So they're kind of doing sort of along the same lines as what we were talking about earlier, a nice spread out tactic where you have all your little bases covered and you're not really giving up any one particular thing. And it looks like those upstairs roamers will fall back. They've said, all right, we wasted plenty of time. We do not need to stay up here any longer. There's only 1:16 left in the round. Let's go ahead and head back to the site or roam downstairs or what have you. Goga's going to be able to get some 6 C4s in all likelihood from downstairs if they go into if the attackers go into the B bomb site, although that is not the more commonly attacked site.
Yeah, typically, we actually might have Goga here getting droned out. There's a drone on the 2nd floor red stairs. That's Spark's drone. See that right above him. He's on it at the moment. That's why it's highlighted. Now he's gotten off, so Goga might be pushing at the perfect time. 45 seconds to go in a 4-on-5.
Supremacy needs to make a play here. Despite getting the first pick of the round, they have to establish something more than simply upstairs control. And they need to pressure this site a little bit stronger. Only 30 seconds. It's looking like it might go in the way of Penta.
Now, it's basically what it's going to come down to is gunfights here. At the final moments, they've set up their sides. Looks like Bibu's going to take down another Penta player here. 3-on-5, looking on up the stairs. He spots him. Well, that will be Raphael going down by Goga. He grabs 1 kill, goes on over to the half stairs. He's going to try to come on up, but the shots from Zephyr will take down Fabian. 2 members left from the defensive squad. That's KS and Goga. Goga swinging on over. He's going to stop the defuse plant, and all we have to do is have KS stay alive. However, the plant will try to go down. Looks like it will in moments to go. KS now needs to get the clutch, but he will not as Sledge comes swinging around, and that will be Spark taking out KS to have round 1 go in the hands of Supremacy.
So Supremacy going with a oldie but a goodie. Establish control over Piano. Do not pressure the top floor any more than that. They really did gauge that well instead of opting to go push all the way to White Stairs and establish complete top floor control. They just took what they needed, opened up the floor, pressured the site as much as they could, disabled the mirror windows, made them a null factor, and then simply vaulted in through the window. no real complications in that strat at all. And, you know, they did maintain control over red stairs the whole time, but it barely influenced the round at all.
Yep.
As you saw the Valkyrie come up from red stairs in the later seconds of the round and get that flank onto the Thermite. Despite that, there weren't enough players on the Penta lineup at that point, as 2 of them had been picked off without making any work, or putting in any work in that round, which put Supremacy in such a man advantage. It didn't matter that there were only a couple seconds left in the round. You kind of have to attribute that, and I'm sorry to put a finger on it, but I have to attribute that kind of the Pengu getting picked off so early through that A bomb site window. It must have been, you know, it was probably a random spray through the window, because it looked like he was just setting up some barbed wire in front of it.
Yep.
I can't imagine he's in that position for any other reason. So it was probably just an unfortunate happenstance.
It looks as though Raphael's going to be throwing a Valk cam here inside of the piano room above. I'm curious to see where the other 2 are, though, because Valkyrie camera placements, as many people know, are very important information gathering devices.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you could put if you don't put your Valkyrie cams in the right place, you basically put your team in an extreme disadvantage. It's similar to how you need to handle your mirror windows.
Yep.
Speaking of which, no mirror coming out for the Supremacy team as well. They have opted to go for train defense instead of upstairs defense. It's interesting that both Penta and Supremacy have opted for this choice, and I wonder if it's just the meta developing. Ooh, an Ash charge being used on a barricade. That is not commonly seen, but the rush from JNS coming all the way into Library could establish some good control. That gives them a lot of power in the map in general. Cuts off entire rotations from at least 3 of the defenders.
Yeah. Oh, looks like Bibu, though, might be seeing Eunice here with the heartbeat sensor. I don't think Eunice knows. He's going to take a look here in the Library real quick and will be spotted. Goes for the shots here, puts away the heartbeat sensor, and misses his target. He missed it into the shots there, and that will be Bibu coming out on top, barely walking away after having only 15 damage or 15 health left on his body.
That was just a little bit of a whiff there from Junis. I assume that's Junis.
Zephyr playing underneath inside of the restaurant. However, we have Goga trying to hold from underneath. His KS is looking above. Pengu, though, will fall to Bibu. This is where KS needs to start using that IQ device. There's Valkyrie on the other team as well as Pulse. This is the perfect opportunity to make IQ as effective as possible, and KS seems to just be holding angles.
I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves, Spark with a pick on Goga, now a 2 versus 5 Penta, are looking like they're going to have to struggle to win this round. But yeah, if we're being honest with ourselves, Junis probably should have won that engagement on the Pulse earlier, and we'd still be in likely a 5v4 at least.
Now Bibu's going to get this wallbang here again against an IQ. There goes the C4 toss, and KS just narrowly escapes it. But as he vaults on through, Bibu's there to get another kill. That is 3 kills for Bibu this round. And there's only 1 member left from Penta. That's going to be Fabian here, coming down the back of White Stairs. Zephyr's going to peek his head out, and he will be taken down for the count. He's got 4 more to go. Fabian has the potential to do it. Full health and a lot of ammo still, and he has enough time. Not plenty, but he has enough time to get this to work for him.
Fabian can definitely make the clutch happen. And there is the C4 gone off the Pulse, which means if he gets into a one-on-one engagement, either he gets the headshot or he loses, because he's on that 1 HP like you talked about earlier. Whereas the other 3 players on defense still are going to be much of a challenge. Whoa! Fabian with a nice flick on a Bibu to start things off here in this 1 versus 4.
Now he's going to catch Spark off onto the side. Potentially there it goes, but he doesn't look at the right time. Spark, however, will come out on top, dropping Fabian. Supremacy goes up 2-0.
Not enough information gathering there, it seemed like, for Penta. And I like the idea of the rush straight into the Library by Junis, but he should have had a teammate droning for him. There wasn't enough, like I talked about, not enough information gathering. If you're going to rush into Library, I mean, I'm sure one of his teammates probably called that Library itself was clear, but then continue with the information gathering. You know, have your teammates sit and spawn and say, okay, here's the first victim, go kill him, you know?
Yep.
I mean, Junis got caught off guard. You could say potato for Junis, could say, but he got caught off guard. I mean, how do you expect somebody sitting in the laundry? I mean, it's not a commonly played position from anyone on defense in that instance. And so,
and Pulse actually like got down into laundry as we had Ash inside.
Right, and it was just honestly really bad timing. as well as, again,
bad timing or great timing, depending on who you're looking for.
For Penta, bad timing, great timing for Supremacy, and a lack of information gathering for Penta. But aside from that, the strategy from Penta pretty much consisted of the same thing Supremacy was doing. Establish control over Piano, although they did not utilize it very much. Establish control over Red Stairs, which seemed to be their primary focus, and then progress into the same exact site in Wheel Room. And unfortunately, again, their focus just got countered just a little bit after the Pulse was allowed to walk away from that engagement. He just wreaked havoc on the red hallway push. Now Supremacy in a 2-0 lead. They're going to go back on to attack, and this time, Penta have opted to go upstairs. They did not win their downstairs defense, which means that this is a conscious decision, not a forced one.
And this is what we were talking about before with having a Pulse underneath so that they can gather the information on who's dropping into red, who's going to be on the stairs, who's going to be out on the ventilation units outside of the mining room. And we've seen this before where if the attacking squad gets too comfortable, Pulse could easily just hop out the window, get them as they rappel upside down.
Yeah, but it looks like we will be having Claymores at least be put down here to prevent that, hopefully, for Supremacy. We'll see if Junis is going to be able to read into that or if he's going to get caught by one of those Claymores. I don't see it as likely. He's almost certainly just playing down there. Ooh, this little angle from Fabian doesn't look like it's going to merit any results.
I think it's
not yet.
I think it's his teammate.
Yeah, it is his teammate.
Poseidon, though, will have his drone inside of Piano, though. That's going to spot out Poseidon. Or that's sorry, it's going to spot out Pengu inside of the Cigar Lounge.
Well, yeah, Junis downstairs with that Pulse is still going to prevent any serious pressure coming from Piano. If any of these attackers vault into Piano, they're liable to get a C4 from underneath. And I'm sure they're aware of this. I mean, this is pretty commonplace on this particular defense at this junction in the meta. The playing that castle so aggressively in Cigar Room is an interesting choice. We'll see if it pays off for Penta. Oh, he's going to retreat, but he's going to get caught out by Zephyr. Good positioning there from Zephyr to maintain control over that skylight. Sometimes teams neglect that, and it did work out for Supremacy this time. Yeah,
unfortunately, though, for Pengu, he will go down for the count. So a minute 10 left to go on the clock. Bibu's going to open up the wall, and now he's inside of the Cigar Lounge. Door has been opened. Fabian still holding on to that pixel angle. That is a common pre-fire spot, but it's also a very difficult one to challenge from the top of red. However, Bibu, as I say that, is going to go for the challenge himself. Goes for the lower angle and waits for Fabian to make a push. He's going to go for it, and Bibu, it will be there. However, he misses. Fabian just going left to the right side and picks him off for the count.
I can tell you that that was a nutty shot.
So Fabian's still staying there. He's got Hibana. That's going to be Poseidon on the window to his side. Goes for the shots there and misses just enough, but that will force him out and back onto the cocktail lounge. Plenty of time, though, for Penta to continually hold this. You've got the rest of Supremacy, though, trying to work forwards. They've neglected to push onto Pulse underneath. This is going to be Eunice underneath. Now he's waiting for a single heartbeat to stay stationary with seconds to go. So Eunice moving on forward. He spots it. There goes one C4 from KS to drop Raphael. Another one's going to come out right underneath. Hello, Spark, and goodbye, Spark. As we are going to have Zephyr, last man alive. He's got just little bits of health left. He cannot get the diffuser planted in time, and we will see Penta secure one round here so far.
So, as you said, they didn't push the Pulse downstairs, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the end of the strategy. When you're taking so much time to methodically push into your piano, pick off players one by one on the site, get rid of those anchors, and they did just that at a cost, as they did lose a number of players to Fabian. All the same, if you're not dealing with the Pulse underneath, you're not going to be able to plant, friendo. There's not a lot of opportunities for that, and you know, the majority of the plantable floor, I think the entirety of the plantable floor is breachable. So there's not a real, like I said, if you're not going to push the Pulse from underneath, then that strat kind of is kaput at that point. I think you might be able to plant on top of the coffee table, or on top of the tables, but then you have to make sure that you've killed all of the anchors before you do that. And they had done, but there was only a couple seconds left, so not enough time to justify vaulting up.
Yeah, and one of the things we've talked about many times before has been the fact that when you're dealing with a roam game, you have, such as Pulse being underneath in the mining room, you have two options. One, go full force and go after that roam to take him out, or two, you play more passively and you just watch your angles and you watch the flank. In this scenario, you have to go for it.
Yeah, this is one of those strategies. There are sites where you can do the containment strat and just like hold off the roamers to prevent them from influencing your attack. and there's sites where you can't. And this is one of those sites where you really can't. You have to deal with any potential C4 threats from underneath before you push into the site. Unless those C4 threats become negligent, they will deny your plant 9 times out of 10.
So as we talked about at those window bangs, that's exactly what Eunice was doing there, seeing if someone's going to rotate around through the top of bar. An angle right up there might pop off one blank shot to hop him in the head.
Looks like Eunice is droning himself into Red Hall and likely Library later on. I think he's going for the same strategy that he employed on his last attack round, which is interesting. He's yet again using an Ash charge, trying to make this as streamlined as possible. I like that he's trying to maintain control over Reading Room. I like that that's one of his objectives, and I think it's a good strat. As well as, look at this, it's applying a ton of pressure to the mirror windows in the freezer, as well as just anyone playing in the freezer. This might effectively disable that Poseidon play on those mirror windows. KS, meanwhile, getting a nade kill onto Zephyr elsewhere.
And we had talked about this, I think, on Monday. We were saying, okay, what is stopping attackers from opening up this drop hatch? However, Spark, though, is here in the bottom of White Stairs looking into Reading Room. He's spotted Eunice to the left side. However, he will try to rotate on up instead of holding a little bit of a more strict angle, or more direct angle there on Eunice.
Goga's going to pick off Bibu, and now a 5 versus 3. Now, this is Penta, as we explained earlier. Penta's actually focusing on that roamer threat, and they've dealt with it by forcing their way into Reading Room as they have, which is a really good strategy. It's not what we were seeing from Supremacy earlier.
So Goga now has decided to down himself, get picked back up, so he's going to have 50 health at the remainder of this round. With Poseidon still inside of the freezer, he's going to have to be wary of the attack underneath. Eunice still looking here. He's just playing right now. Right now he knows he's putting this pressure onto Poseidon, making sure that Poseidon doesn't have full-fledged force inside of the freezer. KS going to take control of the piano room and finish droning out here.
And the flashbangs from Junis are going to apply a lot of pressure onto Poseidon. Like you talked about earlier, I think this play from Junis is something we haven't seen a lot of on Kafe, and it is extremely good for the attack overall, as well as easy to accomplish, which is worth noting.
Oh, there's going to be Eunice finally peeking on up to get Poseidon. Raphael going to get one trade down. However, KS and Pengu clean up the rest of the round, and that's going to be it for Penta, securing round number 4. It's now 2-2.
Penta bringing it back. It looked like Supremacy had a distinct leg up here. This is Supremacy's map pick, so it would make sense. But Penta definitely showing that they are still swinging hard. And again, let's talk about that Junis play, okay? Now, we talked about it a little bit, but what it does is effectively nullifies the entire roam game on the second floor. The first floor roam game is inconsequential for the most part on an upstairs attack, so all you really need to do is get rid of those second floor guys. And by establishing himself at Reading Room / library, whatever you want to call it, he effectively does that. He applies so much pressure. You saw those pre-fires going through the, what was it, the north wall in Reading Room, where you just saw Fabian open up that rotation hole. He pre-fired that wall consciously, not because he thought he was going to get a kill through it, but because if there's a Pulse playing in Wheel Room or in Red Hall, waiting to see for his teammates underneath, then that Pulse is now pressured and has to focus on this Ash playing in Reading Room. He's basically drawing all of the attention to himself to give his team the ease of pushing in without having to think about that C4 from underneath, as well as, at the same time, pressuring Freezer on the push from the push from his team. So he can flashbang up into Freezer, effectively nullifying it when his team are actually making that final push. And I also like that I was kind of a little bit perplexed by the fact that he used his Ash charge on the first door. It was basically just a calculation. He doesn't need 2 Ash charges. His entire job is to get himself into Reading Room, open up the drop down, and it's done. His job is done. He just sits
It's
there.
also the fact that he did want to get into Reading Room without exposing himself for too long from the bar. Because if you're trying to hit it and do that one-tap vault, guess what? Sometimes you hit it in the wrong spot, and now you've just given away that rush, that surprise.
And equally, if you're trying to shoot it, then you have to wait to reload or run in while you're out of ammo. I mean, it's just... It's a good calculation there by Junis to make that play. I like it. Definitely want to see more of that in Kafe in the future. It seemed like it helped the strat out a lot.
Now we are seeing Fuse come out of the mix here from Raphael on Supremacy.
Which is, kind of interesting, but at the same time, it makes a lot of sense. We are talking about a second floor defense. However, as you can see, there are only 1 of the Penta players currently sitting on the site. So those fuses might not be super useful.
That is Pengu. I was looking for a second. I was like, which one? I see 3 upstairs, but Pengu
he's
wasn't mining, went back. Yeah, went back in. So he's in train room at the moment. 3 members from Penta, though, will be topside, which is an overwhelmingly powerful force for a mining room and fireplace hold.
Yeah, we talked about this before. I mean, Penta didn't show us this on the last time they defended second floor, but they are the sort of team that they mix things up. You know, they do things differently each round because why should we be static? Why should we do the same thing over and over and over again? And I think it plays to their strengths extremely well, which is, again, being able to adjust on the fly. Ooh, the fuse charges might actually have an effect. Just barely missing Pengu.
Pengu now knows the fate that awaits him if he stays stationary for too long. He's now going to rush back in, and it might be too much damage for him. No, he will evade. 1 more fuse charge to go. Unit still trying to cover the main corridor, looking in towards second-story carpet, right by the ventilation walk-in area. You got Fabian and KS have now retreated back onto site. They're inside a fireplace now. They've wasted a lot of time upstairs. They're saying, okay, you want it? Take it. We need to get back here, and we're going to cover our angles for the push that you're going to have to make. So with 35 seconds to go, Spark is going to be here, trying to force his way in. Now Pengu's on the right side, right next to him, and I don't know if Zephyr realizes that. Raphael going to try to rush on in. Looks like all the gas grenades may have been used. At least 2 of them have. There's Pengu dropping down Raphael as he hops on into the window. 5 on 4 now. Zephyr's going to go down for the count. However, he's not taken out. We have now Habanda's going to pick up that diffuser, and the shotgun will not happen as Fabian will take down Spark, but Poseidon turns around and finishes off Pengu. Goga's going to drop down Poseidon. 1 man left to go. It's going to be Bibu as he gets taken out by Fabian. And now that's going to be Penta securing round number 5, coming from a 2-0 deficit to take the lead for the first time in this series, 3-2.
Previously on this particular defense, Penta, they lost 2 players early on without them having any effect whatsoever. One of those players being Pengu. As you can see, he wasn't seemingly, he might not have been trying to place barbed wire. He might have simply been trying to position himself close to the window in that aggressive corner we just saw him play in. And it did work out well for him in this instance. Because those 2 players were left alive, not picked off so early this time, because those huge charges didn't have any effect whatsoever, it meant Penta could just keep trading back blow upon blow. Whenever Supremacy got a kill, Penta answered with 1. As well as, to be honest, from the get-go, they were at the man advantage. So when you're going into a trade sort of situation, if you're at the man disadvantage, you're going to lose.
Yep. It's what Penta did there, and I believe we talked about it as it was happening, was they had plenty, they were not forced out of the top. They had 3 people up top, and they could have easily stayed there, but they decided to go back downstairs.
So we talked about this earlier, how Supremacy, when they attacked this floor last time, they took control of Piano, and then they didn't take control of anything east of Piano. They just Piano. That's it. They took Piano, they fused it, they sledged it, they shot the people on the site. That's all they did with it. Then they pushed down red stairs, dropped down into A, and they got the plant. I mean, that was as simple as that. And they had such a man advantage that there wasn't much Penta could do to really stop that. This time, they didn't. They took control of top floor. They didn't pressure east again, but the difference is that Penta, like you said, they didn't lose anyone. And then when they saw what was happening with Supremacy, they're just like, okay, well, we don't have to hold upstairs then. Let's just go back down to the site and just trade blows, like we talked about earlier. Just when someone dies, trade them back.
I think it's also worth noting how valuable it was that Pengu was able to get in that corner of the mining room, because typically you're stuck inside a train room. You don't dare challenge that window because you know Glaz is out there. Pengu successfully did that, got around, and was able to just capture Supremacy off guard for 2 kills, I think it was.
Yeah. Actually, it might have just been the 1 kill. I think he died before he get the second one.
You're right.
He sprayed with his, but it doesn't matter. He did a tremendous amount of work. This is some interesting play coming out from Junis. He is going to put Spark on half HP. Those ash charges doing a lot of damage. I think they do about 50 damage each to direct contact. They are underestimated as damage givers.
We already have Goga, who's inside of he's inside of the piano room. Already moved down white hallway, taking out Spark. Bibu, however, will drop him for the count as Fabian gets a trade of himself there on a Bibu. We're just seeing continual quick plays here. Looks like Penta's going to come out on top of this first engagement, 4-3 now.
Yeah, Penta has, through one person lost, established control over the top floor, and in the process, they have taken out a castle and a bandit. Absolutely worth it. They lost their Hibana, which might slow down the drop takes, because it's going to fall down to a thermite. However, I don't think that's going to hurt their strat too much. Zephyr, though, going to get a kill before being traded back by KS.
I was about to say that you had some crossfire or some coverage going on there, because Bobby was at the top of the roof looking down towards, who was that? That was Zephyr, trying to make sure that it was okay for KS to move forward. Looks as though Eunice might have decided to rush on just a little bit too much. The C4 coming out from Raphael, though, will take down KS from above. Now we've got a 2-on-2 unfolding with 60 seconds left to go. Pengu's holding onto the diffuser. Right now he's inside of the mining room, I think that is. Either that or the red carpet hallway. No, he's inside of a site. And now it's going to be up to the 2 attackers to try to get this plant down. Fabian has now gotten his way into the bar. He's quite a distance away from Pengu. With that, he is going to open up the floor as much as possible. And this is what Pengu's doing right now. He's waiting to hear for the shot to Raphael. Peeks on up from the hole that was just made. Fabian will be dropped. Now that's going to be Pengu trying to go for the bait here. Goes for the shots and he misses his target as Raphael comes swinging around, gets another kill here. And that's going to be Supremacy, tying it up 3-3.
So that was an interesting decision there to bring the sledge upstairs. I understand the concept. However, one of the reasons defenders have to fear holes being opened above them is because they don't know what kind of numbers or what kind of operators specifically that they're dealing with in their entirety. They don't know what they're going up against. When it's a 2 versus 2, you know one's playing inside the other site. Yep. You're simply waiting for them to push or plant, and then the other one starts hammering above. You now know that they're separated. There's only one player above, and if you kill that player, you win the round. And they did just that. They got aggressive on the angle that Sledge was opening, and he lost the fight. I think the right decision there, to be honest, might have just been to consolidate, bring your Sledge over to red stairs, have him cover the plant, and when, you know, kind of just play the round out that way. Because there was only one way for the defenders to stop that plant, and that is to push through the site door. And from red stairs, like the interval between top and middle, you can completely cover that. So what I think they were trying to do, and you said it correctly, I believe what you had said was what they should have done. What I think they were trying to do, though, was Fabian was trying to open up the floor and allow Pengu to sit tight, hear movement, wait to hear the movement, then go for either a wall bang or a pre-fire around the corner. Well, of course, yeah. Again, it didn't work out. Separatings, yeah, it didn't work out. But now we have Penta, 3-3 versus Supremacy. They're going to be going on to the upstairs defense. And this time, I don't believe they've actually brought a mirror on their last upstairs defense. They've been bringing it on the downstairs defense, but I'm not entirely sure about the upstairs. I like this murder hole they're opening up here. This is disabling one of the common plant sites on the top floor, essentially, by now applying extra pressure to it from the freezer. As long as freezer remains completely enabled for the defenders, there's somebody sitting inside of it. There's no one going to be able to plant in that particular corner, which is normally safe. Now, last time Penta held this site, they held it very successfully. And we are going to have to see if Supremacy decides to change it up a bit or still push in their same way. Looks like they're setting themselves up to do just that, just kind of a very common piano cigar take. And I'm skeptical as to if this is going to be what they need to make this happen. They do have a Hibana rappelling onto those windows outside piano. I think those are the east windows. Or sorry, no, they are not. They are the south windows. And I think she may have just been scared off, though, by Junius meleeing that door. I like how he melees it, but doesn't peek it, as he knows that it is likely someone staring at it now, and Hibana is doing just that. And that's pretty much... We've seen that time and time again, especially in the competitive scene, the high-level scene, is knowing that, okay, that's an expected spot. All I need to do is make my presence known, and that's enough to waste enough time. Pengu did run out somewhere. We didn't quite see exactly where to kill that player rappelling on the south windows. It's the south windows. That's what it was. Yes. And Poseidon has fallen. Yeah, Poseidon has fallen. I like that. That's got a ring to it. And now that is going to put Penta in a man advantage, as well as the fact that, oh no, Pengu, though, going to get pre-fired around the corner with the flashbang, taken out. Now we do have Fabian still inside of his white corner right there, but it will be taken out by Bibu. He lost that engagement last time, but decided it's now my time to drop Fabian, and so Bibu will come out on top. It's a 3-on-4 at the moment.
50 seconds to go. Kay is still trying to hold down the freezer as Eunice is underneath in the train museum, which he did previously get this kill and finish off stop the plant from being put down.
Yeah, so like you said, this is the tricky part here. Supremacy still has applied no pressure to this roam game, which means that Junis is allowed to freely defend this defuse plant with his last C4, and then even after that, just by shooting through the floor with his pulse sensor. So this might actually spell doom for Supremacy, but they're making their play.
They are, and they're doing it with enough time that if a C4 does kill one, they will likely have enough time to continue. Bibu, however, will get injured. He will not have enough time to get picked back up, and so therefore, that is considered a kill here. Raphael gonna go, but he will get taken up by KS as well. C4 is gonna come, gonna get a double kill. No, it misses its target. KS will finish off his down. No, he's actually getting one more. Last man's gonna be Zephyr, and that's gonna be Goga coming around. KS with a triple kill to finish off the last of the rounds here. It's now 4-3.
Okay, so a tiny bit of a whiff there from Junis on the C4, but it didn't matter as it turned out. KS was ready and primed with that Mira playing in the freezer and just kind of picked off the attackers one by one as they progressed through the cigar door. I want to talk about the strategy involved, but all I can really say is Supremacy neglected the roam game, which should have cost them, but didn't. And then on top of that, their entire strategy was, hey, let's push through the cigar door, which is the thing, you know, that's not to the detriment of Supremacy. That's what we see a lot of teams in the Pro League doing these days, is, hey, let's push through the cigar door. And it usually isn't super successful, I'm going to be honest. I mean, you're funneling yourself into a bottleneck, and the defenders know exactly which angles to peek. Just the same as you do, granted, but there's only one for them to peek, whereas you have to hold the angle from the A-bomb site, the angle into freezer, and just the angle on maybe somebody creeping up on you in bar itself. I mean, there's so many things to watch.
Now you can see Supremacy is changing things up just a little bit. They decided to use one of their reinforcements on the drop hatch and freezer, which previously Eunice had gotten inside and decided, I'm going to make sure that Mira doesn't have free roam with the freezer.
Absolutely a fantastic adaptation there by Supremacy. Good call on that one. If Judas had been allowed his free reign like he was last time, it would have been detrimental, I'm sure. However, Judas can still open up the floor next to the drop down and throw his flashbangs through the holes in the floor. I mean, he doesn't need an actual drop down to apply that same amount of pressure when his team's going for the push. Remember, he only needs to lug flashbangs through. He doesn't need to kill anyone through it. I mean, that'd be ideal. Sure, get a pick on Mira, but as long as she's blind when your team's pushing, it doesn't really matter. And again, the main role of that Judas push is to disable the roam game, which is something that Supremacy has been neglecting altogether, and Penta is on top of that.
Now, is this the first time we've seen Monty on this particular bomb, or in this series?
I think in this season, it is the first time we've seen Monty on... I'm
thinking, I don't remember what Pengu played in previous rounds. This is the first time I'm making
I'm honestly not entirely sure, but it is definitely one of the few and far between times that we have seen Monty as of late. Oh, June is going to get picked off here by Spark, and that is one huge component from the Penta attack off the board. We might see overtime here.
Spark, can he get the shots? It's going to be Spark looking on up with the pistol to take out Fabian. The potato is real.
What happened, Fabian? You know what? Honestly, shooting a DMR at a 3-speed, not an easy task. Let's be real.
It's not an easy task.
Goga's going to trade it back, though, onto Zephyr. So it's entirely possible Penta could bring this back. However, Supremacy looking real good for an OT here.
They very much are. Still half the round left to go. Spark is hurt. However, so is Goga. They're down to about each other's health with, I think, about 20-25 health to go. Now, we are going to have Pengu working his way in here. They do not have a pause, and it looks like Pengu going to go for a plane. He sees the castle barricade, but it looks as though Biba's going to get one kill onto him as Raphael takes down KS. Goga's going to be the last man alive. He's inside of the cigar lounge, and he gets taken out right away by Raphael as well. That's going to be Supremacy tying it back up. We're headed to overtime here on Cafe.
You can see that Castle still playing, still allowed to play in the piano room. I think he killed. Yeah, he killed that Montaigne. Okay, so there's a little partially destructed wall. It's the same one that Penta opened up to hold the corner where KS was playing earlier, as you saw from Freezer. But Castle was playing in the piano, and he was allowed to look through that wall to see the Montaigne planting in the open. And yeah, I mean, it's just not. I think that was kind of a desperation play from Penta at that point, as again they had so many of their fangs removed. I mean, the Glaz off the board, that's a lot of pushing power.
You had Glaz and Ash,
and then your Ash being taken out. She's now not taking control of the roam game, which is a huge component in your entire attack. So I'm sure at that point they were just like, hey, maybe they'll just let us plant. And no, Supremacy did not let PENTA plant. So now for overtime, we are going to see PENTA thrust onto defense first and Supremacy onto attack. And instead of going into the second floor defense first, which is what they did in the very first round of the map, they're going to opt to go upstairs, which makes a lot of sense when you want to really win those rounds, crunch those numbers, and finish this map out.
Supremacy, though, like we talked about it during their prep phase last round, they were adjusted very well. Another thing they adjusted to was recognizing Eunice followed the same route almost every single round. Basically 4 rounds in a row.
And you know the real detriment to Junis's attack? Like, straight up, the main reason it's not as efficient as it could be, nobody's droning for him. Yep. He's going in solo. He's droning for himself, and he has to expose himself to do so.
Yep.
If you had one teammate on PENTA droning Junis straight on into the building, it would take 30 less seconds. Be way more efficient. He wouldn't likely die in the process. He might even get a kill if somebody's setting up to stop him. I mean, there's so many benefits to it. So it's interesting to me that we don't have, just say, the Thermite drone Junis in for the first 30 seconds of the round and just make it happen.
Yep. I definitely agree with you there, and that was one of the things that I was wondering about is, can they make it more efficient, and how? And that is how you do it.
Right. Pengu again playing very aggressive in the cigar room. Last time it did not pay off for him, if I recall correctly. However, wait, I think I recall incorrectly. I'm pretty sure they won that round. Whatever the case be, that aggressive play in cigar is something we don't see a whole lot of in the Pro League lately. Usually it's forfeited to the attackers as, hey, they just get this.
Poseidon could get this kill here on Pengu. Pengu's right inside. He's going to go for this peek here. He's probably going to go for a little wall bang. Just a moment, just barely above his head. Goes for the peek, but misses it as we do have Pengu trying to rotate back over to Cigar Lounge.
So what you saw there was Poseidon was waiting for his teammates to drone so he could get the mark, so he could get the pre-fire, and he waited, unfortunately, to his detriment. Could have just killed him the whole time. That is unfortunate to see, but he doesn't know. You know, he has no possible way of knowing that.
Now, we did just see Eunice try to pop out a bakery for someone repelled on the north windows, and unfortunately for him, it didn't do much of anything other than give away his position. Zephyr, however, is still at the top of the skylight here, which is where he picked off Pengu before when Pengu tried to rotate back into bar. He was caught off guard and was taken out for the count. So 60 seconds to go. We are going to have a 5-on-5 still unfolding here.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Pengu got, got too aggressive, got picked off. 50 seconds left to go, though. Neither of these teams have really entered into any significant gunfight as of yet. And while Supremacy has established control over Cigar, they have yet to take Piano, and there's only 37 seconds.
Now we do still have, I believe we've got Mira with C4, Pulse with C4.
Castle.
Oh, looks like Zephyr will take down Eunice. Now he's going to be able to throw out some smoke grenades, get some cover for his team. Spark waiting for this prime opportunity, either to cover this flank or push on in towards the White Hall. However, K has dropped down 1, and he'll be taken out for the count by himself. Now Fabian's here, he will take out Poseidon. 3-on-3 now, but Bibu has been injured. Fabian's still kicking around here. He's going to look for Pengu. He grabs 1. Zephyr's going to grab another. Last man is going to be Fabian with 1 health. 1 health in a dream against 2 members from the attacking squad, Zephyr and Sparks. He's going to go for, he's going to stop it. He goes for the shot zone, and Zephyr gets it. The clutch there from Fabian. He's going to take out Spark and Zephyr, and that's going to be Penta securing the first round of this overtime.
Okay, I'm going to have to be honest there. That was a bit of a toss from Supremacy. They absolutely threw that round through and through. I'm not sure what Ash was thinking there. Let me go plant in the corner completely away from all my teammates and all the potential cover while I have 1 guy down. That is just, and with only 3 seconds left to go, that is the wrong decision to be making. The right decision there would have been to plant as much cover as you could possibly find, maybe behind the main bar itself, with your teammate watching you, and just everything, all your bases covered. I mean, that was scary, and I don't know why that happened, but they handed that round to Penta, absolutely.
I think one of the things to highlight there is with Fabian coming in, taking out the Ash, who was in the middle of planting, you now have this sense of fight or flight. Do you play for time with 3 seconds left, or do you go and fight the glass, or go and fight whoever's coming your way? And Fabian decided to take the fight, and it looked like it paid off for him there.
Yeah, yeah, no, he could have waited. He could have waited for the diffuser, but I think what he understood there, I think the factor that clicked and made him decide, all right, I'm just gonna either fight them and die, or like not win this round because like that, or win this round by fighting them and stopping the defuse. Because if the defuse had gone down, I mean, 9 times out of 10 on that particular site, what happens then is there's somebody sitting on the skylight on attack, and you cannot get the defuse. Like, it just doesn't happen because the guy is just going to peek and pre-fire every single time. Like, I mean, what are you going to do against that? I mean, we've seen teammates clutch, like in a 2 versus 1, we saw MVK, I think in Canadian, clutch a round out on Kafe in that exact situation. By shooting the guy on skylight.
But you got one covering and one,
Yeah, but it's still difficult. You know, it's not an easy task. And in a 1 versus 3, nah, forget about it. So that was a good play by Fabia. Now we are on 5-4 overtime match point for Penta, and they are going to be attacking onto a second floor defense. Now this is interesting. Supremacy preferring straight up train room defense.
Yeah, and this is where they chose last time, or chose at their first defense round. They were very successful at it. So this is actually going to be in Supremacy's favor. They'll be able to defend this, and then they will have to attack this site. So for that, Supremacy won that to start off the game.
These flashbangs are going to blind Poseidon, but Junis is not going to go ahead and push in with them. Instead opting, I guess, just to try and distract these defending operators as much as possible. Zephyr going to get the first kill of the round onto Pengu. That's the Montaigne off the field. That is a huge driving force for Pentagon.
That's also Diffuser down, and I want to say that's in bar.
Yeah, it looks like it was upstairs. That is really unfortunate for Penta. That might put us onto an 11-round match.
Eunice still looking for someone to rotate outside of reading room, as we do have some of the players from Supremacy called out. We're going to have, looks like, a little bit of a push there. Oh, the pre-fire from Fabian saying, hey, you got droned out. I knew you were there. Bye-bye. Yeah.
See, that's the problem with opening up that drop down, and it was the defenders, I believe, who did it. I mean, you're just applying a little bit more pressure to yourself when the attackers establish control upstairs. Fabian is going to drone out this Jaeger, and now he is going to be exposed to Junis in just a moment. Oh, but actually, he ran downstairs. He
jumped out of the doorway, went down the half stairs. He's actually going to come up white stairs, possibly catching. We've got Eunice up off guard from behind. Now, Eunice actually looked like he was wanting to open up the wall to go down half stairs and chase Spark. But right now, Eunice is like, well, where's he at? So, he's got him locked on now. He knows that someone's here. He's going to go for the peek. Sees and misses the target, and that's going to be Spark trying to rotate back down. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes over to Red, though, to come back up through the rest of Penta coming up behind. Now, Fabian will drop Spark. That's his second kill of the round. He was there for the receiving end of that flank. Good job there by Fabian. Now, Eunice going to try to challenge Poseidon. Here's going to have to back on out and reload for a little bit. Another engagement about to ensue. 20 seconds to go. 4 on 3 now. Got Poseidon still inside of the B site, holding onto the doorway here. Goes for the shots, but doesn't see him. Go to the pre-fire. Almost tapped him in the head, but misses his target. Now that's going to be Eunice. Needs to force his way in, and that will be a trade. It looks like no, Eunice comes out on top as Raphael gets Goga, and KS will fall to Zephyr. You've got a 2-on-2. Last man alive is going to be Zephyr, and he's got to go against Fabian and Eunice. Plan has not gone down yet, and with the defenders will win the match. That is Penta taking not yet. We're going to round 11.
Right, Penta unable to get that defuse plant down, and we will be seeing, like I said, round 11. That is honestly surprising what we are seeing from both of these teams. And I hate to say it like this, but both of them seem scared of the other. And it's making each and every one of these rounds dwindle down to the last 15 seconds before the attackers really start to put on the pressure. And I mean, the teams that we've seen, the rounds that we've seen be concise and be definitive in one way or another, whether it be for the attackers or the defenders, is when the attackers opt to, instead of just prowling around and, you know, seeing where the opportunities lie, just going for it. Just straight up going for it. Every other round for both of these teams has just been like, you know, we'll wait till the last 10 seconds, then we'll push in. And it's causing a lot of problems for the attacking squads in both instances. I mean, that throw we saw from Supremacy on the previous round, that was mostly due to the fact that there wasn't enough time on the board. I mean, Fabian probably might not have been able to, oh no, actually, to be honest, it wouldn't have mattered. He killed both, but still, not enough time on the board, forced out the wrong plant position from Supremacy. And then on that last round, Penta, they probably didn't have the diffuser in hand. They were hunting down the last player on defense, but there's not enough time on the board. I mean, just need to see some more initiative from the attacking squad. However, that puts Supremacy now in the limelight. They're the ones who have to step up, say, all right, we're just going to make the plays happen, going up against Penta's defense here.
Yeah, and Penta's defense here seems to be unique in the sense that they've opened up a lot of reading room.
I really like the way they've been doing that, by the way.
Yeah, they've opened up a lot of it, which is more so than we've seen other teams do. Some teams will stick players inside, but not open it up as much as we're seeing here with Penta.
Yeah, Penta's strategy, or their hold, I guess you could call it, is really well organized. I like it. It gives them all of the different options. We talked about how defending this particular site, the best way to do it, from what we can tell, is to be kind of all over the place. Cover all of your bases, although not too harshly. Don't draw a line in the sand, don't force anything out. And that's exactly how Penta are handling this particular bomb site defense. Sometimes they do draw a line in the sand upstairs, but not all the time. It's worth noting. They mix things up. They keep things on the move to keep Supremacy on their toes. However, again, we talked about this before. Supremacy, they take control of Piano. They take control of Red Stairs. They push into the A bomb site. Penta gonna start things off. June is picking off Bibu upstairs. That's the sledge gone. Means no pressure from the floor apart from those fuse charges.
And those fuse charges are going to be, like you said, the most important thing that they can do here now that they don't have the sledge.
I honestly have to say, Supremacy, they have to prove something here. They have to change their play style, because the way, if they continue playing the way they've been playing on this particular attack every single round, they are going to very certainly lose.
Here goes one cluster charge down into the mining room. We're going to see if it hits anybody. It does not look like it's going to tap onto Pengu. And we also have Fabian, who was on half stairs reading room. He's looking... I want to say he's going to be utilizing the holes inside of the corridor where Spark is looking at the moment. So Spark is going to come down these red stairs, or at least he's holding the angle, making sure there's not going to be a flank. And he wants to make sure that if he needs to open up the wall, open up the doorway, he can, but he's got to be careful of the half stairs.
Look at what we're seeing here right now. 1 minute left to go. We have a lot of attackers doing pretty much nothing right now other than droning for information. And this is what we're seeing from both of these teams. It's really, really bad to see. Gotta be honest.
Raphael's gonna drop on out of the piano room and force his way into the ventilation outside of the top of Bakery, right out by the A site. So again, what he's trying to do here, he's got still one cluster charge. I would have expected him to pre-place that. If he's gonna come on down here, pre-place one of those cluster charges, go in and get that diffuser planted. See, all the smoke grenades are coming on out here. Looks like Pengu gets tapped with one, but not enough. Raphael does manage to get himself in, so now it's time to get this plant down with 15 seconds to go. Zephyr and Poseidon going to take down Pengu and KS, but Eunice drops Spark down for the count. Looks as though Fabian's going to take one bullet too many, and he will fall to Poseidon. Now a 2-on-3. We have Penta now just struggling to come on back here. He's trying to bait out the shots there, but it looks as though we're going to have a shot here. The diffuser player does not get hindered, and we let the diffuser go down in time. A 2-on-3 now. Eunice tries to come on out, but he gets destroyed by the Claymore. He does take down the glass, though. Gok is going to be the last man alive against Raphael and Poseidon. Raphael hopped out on the side of the top of the Bakery, and we now have Poseidon looking for the drop hatch right here. As he falls, we are going to see a Goga trying to go for the shots, but he gets the kill! Now Goga is going to be the last man alive here going against Raphael. He knows he's outside. He's going to look for the shot, but he doesn't want to hop out. He knows that there's going to be most likely a Claymore, so now it's about time. He's stalling. He goes for the shot. C4 gets tossed out. Does he go for the shot? No, it doesn't hit it. And he had to hop on out, and we have Raphael from Supremacy taking this round, and map number 1 will go to Supremacy.
And we saw the adjustment. Ladies and gentlemen, Supremacy, they took their time about it, but in the end, they took the aggression. They went fast into this site. They went for that diffuser plant. And we saw the opposite from Penta. You saw there, Fabian, I believe it was, going to remove that castle barricade, which you had earlier talked about being detrimental sometimes to the defensive squad. In this instance, it was. He went to remove that castle barricade, and he didn't finish the removal. If he had finished that removal, would have seen Fuse, shot Fuse, won the round for his team. Unfortunate circumstance there. Both of these teams seeming to lose a lot of rounds in that matchup just through lack of initiative, lack of forcing out the play.
I think hesitation might be a good word to use for that, because that's what ended up happening. Yeah. Let's go take a look at some of the highlights from this map on Kafe. I would do want to point out that Zephyr had 13 kills and Fabian had 12 kills.
Oh, both of them trying to step it up for their teams. This was very clearly a well-matched match. I was thinking for another word, and I'm like, a well-matched game? Both these teams are evenly matched. There's the best way to put it.
That's the good way. Now here's the C4 toss. This is like, hello, Spark, I see you, and now I'm about to send you away. And there he goes. Goodbye.
And see, that's that roamer clear that wasn't happening from Supremacy throughout this entire match. And it kept...
Now, there's the missed one. I believe that was an air ball, because it should have hit both of them.
No,
it went too far. It went too far.
It straight up missed.
Okay.
He looked away like, I'm a badass. I just killed 2 people. And it didn't happen.
He's going to tap the booty of Glass, drop him down, and that will be the final kill of that round.
Yeah, I mean, the lack of roamer clear from Supremacy, and then see what just happened there, where we saw Zephyr picking that player off from the skylight. There was way too much of that happening.
This was brilliant from Fabian.
Yeah.
This was the clutch that got them the first round of overtime.
Very well played.
Took out the Ash, then the Glass.
Lack of roam clear for Supremacy. Penta just making some really, really dumb mistakes. Supremacy made a bunch of dumb mistakes too, but peeking the skylight on Kafe defense, why?
So I think the attacking squad, both teams in most cases capitalized on the other team's mistakes. Then so making a mistake is not the downfall of your team. The downfall of your team is when you go up against another team that can capitalize on your mistakes.
I mean, we talked about Nesk earlier.
Yep.
West Lobby. He's in West Lobby. He's killing you from West Lobby. That doesn't work. Stop dying to that. You know. I mean, it's like that. I mean, when someone's doing something weird like that, you have a team that's ready to receive it. I mean, obviously Supremacy was, and so was Penta. Both of them, like you said, capitalizing on each other's mistakes.
We got to round 11, and now we're going to be going on to Consulate here in just a few moments, with Consulate being this map that seemingly favors Penta, and Kafe being one that got so close. Yeah, it was chosen by Supremacy, but let's be honest, Penta can play on Kafe.
Yeah.
So with that being so close, and now this seems like it's a favorable map towards Penta. Do we see Penta coming out of the gates running and being the team taking this maybe a 5-1, 5-2?
I don't want to make too many predictions because we are only just starting the season off. But from what I just saw, I think we are going to be seeing a third map for this best of 3.
I definitely think we're going to see a third map, this being Penta's.
Yes. I mean, Penta have time and time again proven that they really do enjoy playing on Consulate. And who knows, maybe Supremacy is going to be their hard counter on Consulate. Anything's possible. We haven't seen a whole lot of Supremacy, going to be honest. So this could be where Supremacy says, hey guys, we know how to play Consulate. Surprise! And just blows Penta out of the water. I really would like to see that. I mean, I would like to see that happen. Supremacy should be able to. I mean, they've already established themselves. Let's just talk about that for a second. They have established themselves as an extremely dominant team coming out of the Xbox scene, out of the Challenger PC scene for the last season, and now into the Rainbow Six Pro League for PC, going up against the previous season's champions and beating them on Kafe. I mean, that's something to write home about for sure.
Yeah, and we talked about it that in the interviews we said that what do you do in the off season, and I think it was Fabian that replied, you find things that no one else has found before. You go through and you find new things. Yes. And I think it feels like Supremacy has done just that on some of their sites, some of the things that we've been seeing here. So we're going to take a look now as Penta is going to just continually try to push on in. Zephyr's actually inside of the Visa office. That's a common spot, but also one that you could overlook if you're assuming that it's all clear.
Yeah, there's some opportunities for Zephyr to peek out towards the south of the front door. I mean, we do have 3 Penta players out by front door right now. If he gets aggressive, he could easily pick off 1 or 2 of those attackers. However, he's not going to go for that. Spark backing his way into the southwestmost corner of this garage. This is dangerous. If he gets droned out, he's a dead man in all likelihood.
One of the things I will mention, though, is that this is the first time this series that we will see a Blackbeard coming out. That's Pengu playing Blackbeard. We saw a lot of Blackbeard play in NA.
Yeah, we saw tons of it. Blackbeard is Pengu's kind of baby. He does enjoy that operator very much. He's extremely skilled with it. So this doesn't really surprise me
at all. Yeah, no, he's played it always on Kafe.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, on Consulate.
This is definitely, I mean, I'm honestly surprised we didn't see him play it on Kafe a little bit. But yeah, he brought him here as he was expecting an upstairs defense, I'm sure. I mean, it is kind of surprising that we saw, oh, Fabian going to pick off Bibu to start things off here.
It was actually, I want to say, decent for Fabian to get injured in that stance because he already was hurt. So now that he's been injured, he's going to get picked back up, have 50 health to go. And we are going to see this dwindle down to a 5-4. Spark still tucked away inside of the southwest corner, right in front of the van. Poseidon's now taking the opposite adjacent angle here, right under the yellow stairs.
Oh no, right above you, Spark.
Fabian, unfortunately, not taking a look after he opens it up, and so that's going to allow Spark to get a better angle and better positioning here underneath of the hole. Penta, though, taking control of this piano room. They're going to force their way down to yellow stairs, possibly push one down circle stairs, but they only have 45 seconds to do it in.
This is a pretty common and a pretty well-rounded strat. Take control of that piano room like you talked about, and then move down after you've established control over the main garage. But they do have to contest with Zephyr here, who has moved his way upstairs. If he flanks at the right moment, he will win this round single-handedly for his team. With only 30 seconds left, that moment is coming.
It is, and as we see Spark just being lit up there, he's got about 5 health. Pengu, though, going to tap the head of Zephyr, dropping down for the count as he just goes around for the flank. Goga's going to drop Spark here, and we're going to have Goga drop another one onto Raphael. Last man alive is going to be Poseidon. He tags one, but he cannot come another as he comes around the corner and gets picked off there by KS.
Pengu getting rid of that flank, and then just a series of odd positioning choices from Supremacy is going to put Penta now in a 1-0 lead on their map pick, Consulate. So to remind you guys, if you're just joining us, we previously played Kafe. It went to the 11th round. It ended up being a Supremacy map as they won 6-5. That was their map pick. Now, Consulate is Penta's map pick. It's the second in the series. And then if we get to our decider map, if Penta win this, it will be Oregon.
Oregon being one of the maps that I feel like is balanced between these two teams. I don't feel like it's favored between either of them.
I want to say it's balanced between these two teams, but I honestly, Supremacy, they surprise me. So I'm going to hold off on my prediction for Oregon. I will say that regardless of what Supremacy have up their sleeve here, I do believe Penta have a leg up on Consulate. I feel like this is one of the maps that they have been so very consistent on time and time again. You are seeing, in fact, a Blackbeard coming out from Supremacy. That is, I think, Poseidon's going to opt to bring him here. Now, that really just goes to show, on this particular map especially, Blackbeard is near essential. I mean, he plays such a pivotal role. So on an upstairs attack, there's a lot of things you can do with him. You can repel him on those B windows. You can repel him on the A balcony windows. And that's what we see Penta do 9 times out of 10, is they put Pengu on the A balcony windows. And from there, he controls the connector and the A bomb site itself, allowing his team to push in through admin and get that diffuser plant in the A bomb site. At the same time, to cut off that C4 from underneath, all you have to do is open up the front door and stick one attacker outside. That basically nullifies the pulse, which there is none.
No pulse.
But if there is a pulse, that's that's how you nullify him. So the strat taking A bomb site with the Blackbeard on the A balcony, real simple. We're going to start things off here with a pick onto Fabian. That's the Bandit off the board. That's a significant pick, to say the least. Fabian, one of our playmakers here for today, absolutely. I think you said he had 13 kills on the last match.
Fabian had 12, and Fabian had 12, and Zephyr on the other team had 13. Zephyr, however, will try to get that count up as he takes out units for the count. Bibu taking on a second kill into KS. A 5-on-2s now, with still 2/3 of the round left to go. This seems to be a quick one.
This is almost certainly going to be a Supremacy round. I would be bamboozled if Penta managed to bring this back. But between Pengu and Goga, I mean, they've done more spectacular things. Let's just say that.
Now there's going to be Spark peeking on inside from the window. That's going to be the back of Goga that gets taken down. Last man alive is going to be Pengu. He tries to hop on out. He's giving away his position. They all know he's here. Bibu's going to look on up. He could get a 3rd kill of the round here. He's going to spot him, goes for the 3rd kill, and that's Bibu's final kill here on round number 2, Supremacy. Just securing this top 4 bomb, or taking over this top 4 bomb site.
Flawless round there from Supremacy. Well played to them. Now, I just want to say how incredibly disheartening it is when you know somebody's rappelling on the balcony or outside the balcony, and you run out as the defender, and you can just barely not see them. You can see like their rope. You
can see the grappling hook. You're just like, let's go, and where is he?
And he's just right out of reach because of those freaking rails. You can't shoot him, so you have to run back inside. It's just a terrible feeling. However, what we have just seen, ladies and gentlemen, is an absolute decimation of the Penta lineup from Supremacy. That wasn't a good, well-played round. That was just complete, like, one-sidedness. So maybe Supremacy enjoys Consulate just as much as Penta.
I am pleased to see that with Blackbeard, this is going to be the first Pro League match where he's actually got his elite skin on.
Oh yeah, that is an excellent observation. It's a really cool skin.
I enjoy it.
I absolutely despise Blackbeard on a personal note, but his skin is dope. Like
Yeah.
I can't disagree with that. It's a fantastic skin.
If you don't like Blackbeard that much, then just run around with the deagle. You don't need to worry about his head shield. Just have fun with the deagle.
What I do with him is I put on the silencer and I take off the scope and the grip and I just kind of run around without the shield on.
I would love if there was a silencer
His iron
ACOG on the deagle.
His iron sights are really good on the primary rifle.
Yeah.
Nobody uses them, but they are really good. I'm telling you, it's like bandits. We are going to be seeing Penta setting themselves up for an East take. This is going to be the take we talked about earlier. Going to have a Pengu sitting on that balcony with the Blackbeard, and likely the rest of his team are going to be taking from admin straight on in. Oh, Pengu's
oh, can he go for it? No, can he get it? He's going for Pengu. He misses. Oh, he grabs it. And now he's going to be able to get back over here, but Fabian will most likely be there to collapse. No, he's going to hop on over, use the C4, get on inside a garage without any additional damage being taken to him.
I just want to say how stupendous that kill was, how huge it was to the round overall. It basically cinched the round just by itself.
As long as Supremacy doesn't make any mistakes here, this will be their round, because as you called earlier, Blackbeard, especially on Pengu, is pivotal for the take of this top 4 site for Penta.
Basically, everything is falling apart unless Penta can start getting these refrags soon. They have to adjust their attack completely, and you can see they're doing just that. But now they have no surefire way of cutting off rotation from the B to the A bomb site, and they have no surefire way of picking off Zephyr as he plays in the B bomb site.
There's going to be a shotgun, though. Yeah. That's going to down KS. Gas grenade going to come out.
Gonna miss.
And it looks as though we will see 2 gas grenades used just to keep that pushed off a little bit. Fabian ever looking around for the flank, and looks as though we're going to have Poseidon coming on out of the bathroom to stop the wall from getting opened up. KS will get picked back up over there by Goga, and unfortunately for Zephyr, he will not capitalize on. So that is one mistake. He cannot make another one. 60 seconds left to go, a 4-on-4.
He's getting his wall opened up behind him now. This is a lot of pressure being applied to Zephyr, but there's not a lot of time for the attacking squad here.
Poseidon will tag down Fabian now. That's going to be the sledge going out for the count. So a Thermite, Habana, and Thatcher are left alive. Bibu coming up underneath. He's watching the Visa stairs, sees KS, and is just going to wait for the perfect time to go on through. We will have Zephyr, though, finally falling to Eunice. And that's going to be the smoke that was inside of that A site. Spark is going to try to hold on to what he can here from the connector. Tries to tag the feet there of Habana, but that will not land the shots. Eunice now underneath, sees the C4, or doesn't have a C4, but he will toss some bullets towards the butt. I believe that is of Thermite. Thermite now trying to come around there with a drop shot. He will take down Spark, and Poseidon, though, going to get one trade onto KS. Diffuser has fallen, has not been planted. 10 seconds left to go. Poseidon's going to be inside the bathroom as Bibu's still playing underneath. He's looking for who's going to be still with these moments to go. This is going to be it. We are going to see most likely Bibu look for underneath. Shot's going to come through, but he's actually hitting the bomb. It looks like the plant will go down successfully. He doesn't have the C4. He's going for the pistol kill, but he misses that as well. And unfortunately, we will have the plant from the diffuser go down. That's going to force Bibu to now take this head on. If the attackers are going to stay still, Bibu might get these kills. He's looking for the shots there, and he misses.
He hits one, I think, on the Thermite. Just one, though. Not enough to finish him off.
One more bullet, though, and that will finish him. So Eunice is going to be the one to look out for. However, with a crossfire such as this, it's not likely Bibu is going to come out of this on top. Plant has gone down. There's about 20 seconds left to go. Bibu trying to come around, but he doesn't see the bullets in time, and Eunice will come out on top. And we're going to see this go to 2-1 in favor of Penta.
That was hard. You know, we've seen so many times on Consulate, upstairs defense where the last defender alive, regardless of whether or not he has a C4, is just sitting downstairs, and all he does is heartbeat sensor, deny plant, and win the round by himself, essentially. I mean, even in 1v3s, 1v4s, we've seen them stop the plant in that situation and to come out on top. Just unfortunate misplacing of those shots by Bibu is going to put them now at a 2-1 deficit in the round count. But overall, I mean, they practically won that round. I mean, okay, we could blame Bibu for that round loss, but at the same time, they had no chance of winning if Bibu had not killed Blackbeard as he ran out earlier in the round. Even made it back alive after killing Blackbeard. That's huge. And, you know, again, it would have just been a cut and dry round. It would have been Penta 2-1 already if he hadn't done that. So you can't blame him exclusively. You have to really kind of just look at the fact that Penta, after they lost their Blackbeard, still managed to pick apart the Supremacy defense, one player at a time, and push their way into the site.
Ultimately, yes, Bibu did a great job getting the Blackbeard, came back in and was able to help out his team some more. I feel like I called it, if Supremacy made a mistake, you were going to have Penta capitalize on it. He downed the Thatcher. He didn't get the kill.
Thermite.
No, because Goga was Thermite. Goga picked up
He downed
KS.
He downed KS.
Okay, so KS got injured there, and unfortunately they didn't capitalize on it. He could have tossed one grenade out. Instead, he threw it just to block someone from rushing in.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about one mistake. There you go.
That's the mistake that you didn't want to make.
And it was just a simple one, too, because he hit the wall on accident the first time, and then the second one he didn't go for it. I mean, he could have even re-peeked it, you know? But it is what it is, you know? And now we have Penta looking pretty strong here on Consulate again. This is what we expected to see from them. And they are going to be a defending lobby this time. They have opted to go for that. I mean, when you lose something, it's better to go to, you know, anywhere else. Try and experiment. And we talked about this before. Lobby is plenty defensible, and Penta is one of those teams that will take you to lobby. They don't really care where they're defending on this map. They just like to play the map in general.
I honestly feel like that is their favorite bomb site on this map, just because we've seen them fight every time. Yes, I say that because it allows them the opportunity to roam from below and above, use the entire staircases to basically play as free as they want.
Yeah, that is one of the redeeming qualities of the lobby, but some teams see that as a detriment. I think you're right in assessing that Penta see that as definitely to their advantage, but a lot of teams are like, oh, there's too much to work with, there's too much to cover. Penta's not that team.
They definitely are not. Now, Bibu has gotten up by the soda machines. He's going to look on in through Piano, but we are going to have a head tap by Fabian right there on the Spark, dropping out the Ash right away. Bibu is still up here, though, so we are going to see if he can get on in. We're going to have a challenge. Bibu taking out Eunice. He's going to rotate back downstairs right by Zephyr. Now, unfortunately for Eunice, he does have very low health. Goga will take out Bibu, however.
So you can see here Supremacy going for a basement attack. This is a little bit uncommon. That grenade is going to take out Goga. You saw it just coming barely right before we switched over, and that was just, oof, that was tough to watch from Goga's perspective. This basement attack, what we're talking about though, Supremacy coming in from the basement, this is not very common when it comes to a lobby attack. Usually teams will try to force out upstairs, and that is, I mean, I like the change that Supremacy is trying to implement here in that common, you know, sort of, it almost never works, let's be honest. The taking upstairs, it 9 times out of 10 doesn't work. I mean, the defensive team has to make a huge mistake for that to actually work out. So I like that Supremacy is trying to mix things up here.
Like you said, it is a different attack that we typically don't see, and I agree with you. I want to see this work. I hope it does. It does look like it's actually being in their favor at the moment, 3-3. They've now cleared out Piano. You're going to see Zephyr move on in. He's holding onto the diffuser, though. Nade's going to get tossed in, but he will get taken out. KS and Pengu each dropping Zephyr and Rafael at the same time. Last man alive is going to be Poseidon. As he comes in from the yellow stairs, we are going to see another man go down. Fabian takes off his head, and we are going to see Penta go up 3-1.
So, Supremacy, they attempted to go down in the basement, start working on the floor of the piano room before rappelling into the piano and getting that diffuser plant. However, Penta was well set up to counter that specific strat. They had a mirror window looking into piano itself, so even if Supremacy had been able to establish control over piano as a room, they still would have had to contest not only a drop down from CEO, but also a mirror window from the bathroom. And apart from that, I mean, Supremacy were losing people on the grind, pushing into the basement, pushing into the the yellow stairs. It was too much of an expensive push, really, to be feasible. Honestly, I like the mix-up. Not the right strat, though, against Penta.
Attackers need to
Agreed. I mean, the mix-up was good. Penta, better.
No.
This is what it came down to. That was their preferred site. Allows them to roam when they can, even when they were man out, or even in an even man count. They don't lose the confidence. They don't lose the ability to rotate. They don't lose the ability to win their fights, and that's what we're seeing here.
And now, Penta looking like they're trying to bring us to that third map of Oregon. Only 2 more round wins, and they will do just that.
Now the question is, will Bibu be risky again to try to take out Blackbeard and take out Pengu? I don't think he will.
I think, to be honest, even if he is, I think Penta's going to be ready for it. I think they're going to make the adaptation to like read into that. Oh, just a little too early there, Poseidon.
When did we get a ping pong table?
Yeah, I think that Penta's probably read into it. Is like, okay, I'm sure that Pengu, after he got ran out on that last round, it was like, guys, you need to watch my run out. And I'm sure now they will watch his run out.
Yep, you can you can see members of Penta, KS, and Goga starting over there on the south side of the map as Eunice takes over the windows on the north side.
Drone's ready. Heartbeat sensor deployed.
Now, what BB's looking at right here, he's looking at someone that is on the south, or sorry, I believe that's the north end of the window, or north end of the map. That's the window facing Visa. A lot of times you'll see a Pulse either looking at the Visa doorway or Visa window way to toss C4 up for someone that's going to escape their way inside or get their way inside. And it looks as though BB saw one target, decided, I'm going to go into garage.
Very slow round so far from both these teams. It's interesting that there's a Pulse all the way down in garage, even though we're defending top floor. It could work, absolutely. What was that grenade? They must have droned Bibu out. That grenade looks like it hit the rim of the drone hole. That was almost a kill. Unfortunately, a little bit of a miss there from Fabian, I'm guessing. But all the same now, Bibu will be able to leave relatively unscathed, and there's only half the round left to go for the attackers to make their push into the site. Pengu repelling on these B windows, so it is not an A attack right now. It's a strictly B attack. You can tell where it is that Penta is opting to go exclusively on where they position their Blackbeard. Bibu going to run out to likely see nothing here.
Yeah, nope, we will not see Pengu there anymore, and so Bibu is going to just get detected, come on back into Visa, and now they know that there's a roaming Pulse around. But as I say that, he does get back onto site quite easily with no confrontations whatsoever. Pengu and the rest of his team are going to be pushing in from yellow stairs, from Skylight, as well as from corner office. It looks as though Spark will take down Eunice on the first kill. Tries to go for Goga, and he will just barely miss the time, but he's going to move on over here. Goga now still looking to get these shots here onto Spark. Another engagement could happen here momentarily as Goga pushes on in, but Fabian take down Zephyr as Bibu hops out to take out Fabian for the trade. Now a 3-on-4 is going to ensue with 40 seconds left to go. This is that rushed engagement we were thinking about earlier. Spark will take down Goga, but then gets finished off by himself. And we are going to have two members from Penta left alive. KS falls. Pengu has repelled on inside. He's down in corner office with Diffuser, going up against two members from the defending squad. Now they are in quite a pinch here. We are going to have Pengu with very low health. One little bullet will do the damage that needs to get done. He's going to go for the plant as Bibu comes around.
15 seconds
There's the
remaining.
C4 toss. He tossed it too far. I don't think Bibu knew that he's that
10
close.
seconds remaining.
And there it is. Pengu taking out one. Can he take out the other? He knows Poseidon was inside a cubby, or at least close to there. He's moved on to the other bomb site. Going for the plant. Poseidon now is going to try to rush on over here. He's going for the kill. It doesn't work out, and Pengu now knows exactly where he's at. Who's going to get the first kill? He's going for the Deagle kill. Can he get it? He does get the Deagle kill! Pengu dropping the clutch right there as Poseidon will fall to the 50 caliber bullet going into his chest.
Pengu's fucking insane. He's insane.
Madness in this house right now as just Pengu and the rest of Penta are probably cheering on their feet at the moment. It is 4-1, match point, ready to go almost to map number 3 here.
If you point me to a round that never should have been won, it would be that round.
3-on-1 against Pengu with literally 3 health.
What?
You talked about Pengu and having Blackbeard as his baby, and that is exactly why.
I mean, you can't even attribute that. Like, okay, some people would be like, oh, Blackbeard's OP, he's got a shield in front of his face. And you can't even attribute that to his shield in front of his face. The guy had 3 HP throughout the majority of that engagement, and he just freaking won it.
It comes down to mistakes.
Yeah, no, it was Supremacy. It was absolutely.
So Supremacy,
yeah.
like we talked about, they previously when they were on defense, they missed we had the missed kill on KS. This time, the C4 was over-tossed. You should have heard the plant go down right next to you on the other side of the wall.
Yeah.
And unfortunately...
Pulse sensor. I mean, like, what's stopping you from pressing your gadget button? If he's... Okay, listen. You're throwing your C4 to the CEO office, or CEO desk, right? Okay?
Yep.
And what that means is you don't think that he's right next to you. You've got a reinforced wall. Why not pull out your pulse sensor and see exactly where he is?
Yep.
You do not need to take that risk. More importantly, why are you peeking one by one? Why are you doing that to yourselves? Your team, communicate, peek together. Just go. I mean, if either of them had peaked at if they just peaked at the same time, they would have won.
There were 3 entry points into that site in the corner office. You had the little cubby, you had the main door, and you had the hole in the wall by connector. There were 3 defenders. They each could have come in all at the same time. There's not enough bullets, and that's the rate of fire on that assault rifle for Blackbeard is not enough to take out 3 people.
He can't. He would have to be using an aimbot to have killed all 3 at once. Literally, like you said, from all 3 angles. It's not possible. So. Why, Supremacy? You don't need to play that safe. Just go. Go. He's in a corner. He has nowhere to hide.
Well, he was in the wrong corner, according to Paul. But
yeah. Whatever the case be, now we are on match point. Penta bringing it to 4-1 due to a very well-played clutch by Pengu. Definitely displaying that he knows how to get around with his Blackbeard. And now we're going to be going on to a basement defense for Penta. One that they are very well versed in making happen. Fabian's going to be upstairs in this room. He will be droned out by, I think, 2 different players for making his way back.
Playing mute. Okay, I thought he was in bathroom for a second. I was like, he is playing mute, so maybe they've got jammers. But no, like you said, he did get droned out. He's going to rotate back downstairs. And ultimately, it looks like he might go into servers.
Well, the same. There's only half the round left to go as we spent the majority of the first half talking about that clutch. And now the attackers have really not established much control.
By Poseidon! No. Hello and great catch! What a good toss there by Goga.
Well, I love it. Great catch. That's beautiful. That's going to put the attackers now in a very precarious position, but I'm going to be honest, they probably aren't playing their hardest right now. I mean, they have got to be disheartened after that clutch by Pengu, putting it now on such a... Oh, no.
Right there, Goga again, some great Valkyrie cameras. You can see that he knows Sledge is inside Piano, so he's like, okay, there's got to be someone outside by the garage. I'm going to go for the peek. He gets it. That's going to be Raphael and Zephyr both going down. And here we have it, a 5-on-2. This is going to be most likely the end of this map. We'll be moving on to our 3rd map of Oregon if we can see Penta close it out. Bibu now trying to move on in through the west corridor here, right between Piano. Now the drop hatch has been opened up. He's looking to see if there's anyone behind the white van. Won't see anyone just yet, so he's going to go down yellow stairs, try to get rid of this barbed wire without being overexposed to the white van peak. Eunice is going to be close on the yellow stairs, though. 25 seconds to go. 5-on-2. KS is going to go for these shots behind the mirror window. Bibu trying to go closely, but he goes on up the stairs, and that's going to be Goga coming in from behind. KS, though, gets the final kill, and we will have Penta securing map number 2. It is now 1-1. We are going into the decider map on Oregon.
Now, Oregon, I want to say, you were talking about earlier, you were thinking, all right, it's going to be about a 50-50 map. Both of these teams are going to have a good, fair chance of winning on Oregon. However, I don't know. I feel like after that, I mean, okay, first map, we came to the 11th round. This map, that was absolute decimation by Penta. The one round that that Supremacy did win was extremely one-sided. However... So
the decimation part was not Penta just rolling over them.
No.
It was Supremacy coming up short on some opportunities that they missed.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that cannot happen in such a manner as this.
Yeah, you know, honestly, there was also some weird things like that positioning. We just saw that Rook. He was just straight out in the open. He wasn't behind any amount of cover.
Now, here's this great kill here by Bibu. He's going to go for about a 3-second fight here with Pengu, and then he finally gets him killed, rotates all the way back over to the garage to get in safely.
Right, but yeah, no, just some overall, some weird positioning from Supremacy. It seemed like a little bit... some of them weren't on the right page. Oh, come on, man. This is just so hard to watch because all Poseidon had to do was shoot him once, and here comes Pengu with the deagle.
So I think another thing to note...
Oh, look at that.
Another thing to note, though, is Valkyrie with that, she had a full clip in her MPX, and she used about 5 bullets in that pre-fire and then reloaded.
What the heck is that?
If you're in a one-on-one, you're in a pro league scene, you know that you can kill anyone with 5 bullets or 7 bullets or 10 bullets. If you have 20, 25 bullets left in your magazine, it is a full magazine. You need to consider yourself that.
It feels bad to pound on this, but we do have to acknowledge the fact that there were some serious mistakes on Consulate by Supremacy. There were a lot of mistakes by both teams on Kafe, but absolutely Penta was on point going into Consulate.
So one of the things, like, we are harping on some of the missed opportunities that Supremacy has, but I know Supremacy, and I know that what they're going to do, they're going to go back to this VOD, they're going to say, listen, here's some of the opportunities we missed, we're going to work on it, and we're going to get better, and we're going to grow from it. And that's exactly what Supremacy I expect to have happen from them.
They are an excellent team. They do have a lot of potential, absolutely. And now going into Oregon, could be that they bring this back and bring it to their victory here, because we don't have as many predictions for Oregon as we had for Consulate. Consulate, I think everybody kind of knew Consulate was going to be Penta's map. That is their map, like no matter who they're going up against. So on Oregon, Penta does, I think, have a good track record on Oregon, although I'm not entirely sure.
I want to say Supremacy does, just from we've seen Oregon. Oregon has been one of those staple maps, just like Chile, and so every team is very familiar with it. And so I feel like Supremacy, being the team that can bring their knowledge, bring their experience over from their previous Xbox experience, they're going to bring it on over here, and hopefully we'll see some different stuff. I mean, we've seen Xbox teams try to hold Red Tower. We've seen them try to hold the kitchen and dining before. And so bringing in possibly some of that might be to their benefit. Who knows? But what we have seen is that sometimes when you bring Xbox strats over to the PC original teams don't comprehend it. They can't defend it. They don't know what to go.
I don't know if they don't comprehend it. I think that it's just so distant from their meta that they don't. Sure, they don't comprehend it, but more is like they just don't understand it. There's some things that they need to like flesh out and start to like work on, and it takes time. It takes time.
It does. And so we are going to see Supremacy choosing to go with that top 4 bomb site. Poseidon going with the Mira, get down inside of the kitchen, which we've seen almost every time. You'll almost always see a Mira going here into kitchen, reinforcing the dining hall wall, reinforcing the Mira or the meeting hall wall. And what you're doing right now is basically just covering, making sure that you won't have a Buck or an Ash or someone underneath trying to pre-fire from below.
And it's somewhat interesting that we're seeing Valkyrie bringing a Spaz here. It's the less commonly, let's say, picked gun on the Valkyrie loadout. Generally speaking, the MPX is plenty good. However, going up against Pengu, it makes a lot of sense. MPX versus a Blackbeard, pretty much useless. You're never going to win that fight. Going for the torso with an MPX is suicide.
Now, I was about to just say this, that Penta has adjusted. We saw Eunice having, I think that was Goga, droning out for him as he got into Red Tower. Now it seems like he's going to go back to solo droning for himself. And ultimately, Eunice has been constantly getting into the building quickly, clearing out one portion of the building, and saying, okay, we're going to start here as we continue to clear forward.
Right, and taking from the taking control of the tower is basically just the first step in starting to repel onto those north windows, which you're about to see Pengu do in just a second here. Once he repels on, there he is. Once he repels onto those north windows, he's going to apply a lot of pressure as a Blackbeard to that B bomb site. As soon as they get that that smoke picked off in the B bomb site, they will push on in, get that diffuser plant.
Now, Bibu has managed to evade detection as he took himself into the corner of Meeting Hall, and now he's managed to get his way underneath, inside of the laundry, going up towards red stairs.
So that smoke getting downstairs means, oh wow, this rush.
Now Eunice is thinking, okay, it's all clear for the time being. He rushes on forward and misses some very significant shots there to Raphael. That's going to allow Raphael to reload, get his bearing straight. Poseidon, though, with a C4 there onto Pengu. Dropping him down. Raphael going to get that shot onto Eunice. Now a 5-on-2 as Poseidon's just getting another kill here downstairs. Now KS will fall. You've got Fabian here. He's taking the stale upstairs. And with this, it's 5-on-2. Still 60 seconds left to go. Bibu's now managed to make his way up into the attic. He's just looking for someone else to come on forward. Diffuser somehow, with 5 defenders, does get down and planted inside of the site. You've got Goga, who managed to get it down. I think he's going to be outside. No, he will get one kill there onto Zephyr as Raphael gets Fabian. Last minute last going to be Goga. He does not get killed off just yet, except for now, as Raphael will finish him off. They're still looking for the diffuser. They realize they planted it right by the bunk beds. He's like, where is it? Finally finds it with plenty of time to get it destroyed. Supremacy will go up by 1 round here in the 3rd and final map of this series.
So Supremacy looking pretty strong here, starting things off on Oregon. They went with the bold choice of the upstairs defense rather than the downstairs defense first round. And, you know, it is kind of a split which teams prefer, you know, which. I mean, both are totally viable. However, I find that the more confident teams are the ones who opt to go upstairs. The ones who want to turtle, hide a little bit more, are the ones who go downstairs. And I think that shows that Supremacy are on the board here. They do not want to let the loss that they just incurred affect their gameplay, and it is definitely showing through.
Yep.
We are going to be seeing a Capital coming out for the Supremacy lineup, and that is for the counter of the mirror windows downstairs. However, looks like Penta will also be going upstairs. instead of that downstairs. At the same time, however, Capital is still useful on this attack, as he can disable, if you're doing a tower take, again, you disable tower, you nullify that roam game, you repel onto those B-bomb site windows, and he can kill anyone who's playing between the two windows. You can't do it with grenades because there's ADS devices, and Capital Firebolts bypass that. So he's really good at getting rid of the players sitting in B with his Firebolts, so he's useful on this map just in general.
One of the things I want to point out, and we've talked about it previously before, but I like bringing it up because it's a change from many viewers' perspective, is the no Rook meta. We haven't seen much of Rook at all today in this series, and I think that goes to show that a lot of these top teams, a lot of these top high-tier competitive teams, are the ones that are trying to say, look, Rook armor is good, but if you can get better placement, you can have an additional gadget usage, you're going to be able to outweigh the benefit of that Rook armor.
Yeah, no, the thing about the Rook, okay, we used to have in Season 1, Rook Dock 100% all the time, but they've added so many 3 speeds that it doesn't, not to the defensive lineup, mind you, but to the attacking lineup. They've added so many 3 speeds that their speed has become kind of the meta, and it gives you so much more advantage going into each and every gunfight than having more armor, that it just kind of seems counterintuitive to people now that, oh, yeah, let's pick a Rook and a Dock. Yeah, totally, no. It doesn't fit into the meta anymore.
So you can see Zephyr out here by the north windows, realizing that the bomb site is not downstairs. His arrows, or his fire arrows, are going to be used to hopefully get people away from the windows or away from some of the cubbies. That could be just them lurking in, waiting for the repels into the window. Bibu still cautiously droning this out. I think there is, oh, that is Poseidon, his teammate, coming down from the red tower.
This is a good way. Supremacy, they're inching themselves in here. They are not taking any risks at all. They drone each and every crook and crevice. They C4 all of their flanks. I like the way that they're methodically taking this tower, even though a lot of teams would just assume it's clear and, you know, maybe have one guy drone a couple corners here and there and then go on in. They're not taking that liberty. They are spending every second they need to secure this tower.
So we have 3 members from the defensive squad off-site. That's going to be Eunice, Fabian, and Goga. Goga's coming up the main stairs. Eunice was actually on the stairs right above him, and you had Fabian, I think, inside a classroom kitchen area.
Goga has an excuse. He's got C4. Bibu is going to pick off Pengu to start things off here. But yeah, Goga has an excuse. He's got that C4. But now Fabian's going to make his way back up into the site. That makes a lot of sense. C4 is now the only player remaining downstairs. He's going to be in the last contingency to stop that diffuser plant should it come to that.
Oh, and as he goes around for the peak, we will have Bibu finishing that off. And he's also going to take on that drone to spot out KS at the top of the stairs now. Now, with that call-out, you want to get someone underneath to open up the floor. Spark, however, that's the second time Spark has missed the opportunity of someone crossing that hallway. And therefore, with 45 seconds left to go, a 5-on-3. Raphael's going to be outside of the single window. To his left is going to be Eunice. Looks like he might try to drone this out first. He just has to throw one in. But with 30 seconds left to go, I don't think he will. Eunice still waiting for the push in through the window. He's in a good spot. He's in a comfortable spot. He's out of the line of sight from the big window. But if he keeps on turning his head like that, he will go down as Raphael takes perfect advantage and perfect timing. Now there's only 2 members left. It's going to be KS and Goga. Goga's inside a meeting hall, not anywhere near the rest of his teammates here. So we're going to have KS try to hold down the site. He will fall after taking down Spark. Now Raphael, he was able to drown down off KS. Last but not least is going to be Goga. He takes a couple bullets to the chest, and Raphael will be the one to finish him off. We are going to have Supremacy, though, taking round number 2. They lead 2-0.
And you know what? They don't just lead 2-0. They are dominating on these rounds. This isn't like a, oh, well, that was a close round. That's really great. We'll see Penta come back. No, this is Supremacy absolutely decimating Penta right now. And it's looking like what we saw on Consulate in the opposite direction.
So we were looking at the fight between, I think it was Goga and Eunice, right by the window outside the site. For that wasn't necessarily the fault of Eunice, because what I think it was the skill and the knowledge of Goga being out there on the window, realizing he doesn't need to make sound. Or is it not Goga?
It wasn't Goga. They're on the same team, but
who was it? Raphael?
I think it was Zephyr.
Whoever it was outside
one of the Supremacy
players outside the window there.
Yeah.
What I wanted to point out though was that he was able to do that silently, and because the rest of the team was also silent and there wasn't definitive, yes, the attackers are pushing this way, yes, they're here, that forced Eunice to make a guess and to look multiple angles, cover multiple ways, and that's what caused the chaos.
What I'm seeing on that note, what I'm seeing from Supremacy is, like you were saying, silent play, but mostly it's just that they're inching their way forward. There is no shift W coming out from them. Sure, yeah, not in the literal sense, in the figurative sense. They aren't rushing into anything. And on the other side of things, PENTA, the way to capitalize on that, the way to counter that directly is to rush into them as a defender or an attacker.
Yep.
If the other team is taking it nice and slow, you go fast. And you know what PENTA's not doing right now? They're not going fast. They are playing extremely slow, extremely passively, and just nothing like what we're used to seeing from PENTA. And because of that, they're getting picked off one by one. What we saw there earlier, oh wow. Starting things off here, Fabian is going to get Zephyr off the board. That's a big player with impact fragger for this match. Down for the Supremacy lineup. That might be our first PENTA round, who knows. But what I was trying to say is, in that last round, it was 3 versus 5, I believe. PENTA was 3 versus 5. PENTA was at such a man deficit that they had to make a play. They had to do something to put themselves back on the board.
Oh, and
Here
Spark, wonderful job dodging the flashbangs. Pengu thinking he got the target. He tries to repel in for a quick one, and it will not go in his favor.
I can't imagine what Pengu was thinking in that instance. You don't need to be repelling into that window. That's just unnecessary. They're defending basement right now.
I think there was a little bit of some team damage done there, and we are trying to see some pre-fire go out towards Spark, and he will fall by Fabian. And we're going to have some pre-fire going out. Looks like Bibu. Oh, we're going to Bibu taking a couple bullets, being silent. He's going to grab that double kill there on Fabian and Eunice. Now there's only 2 members left alive here, and we're going to have Goga and KS try to take him down, and they will successfully. So now with 2 on 2.
He did die there, but he put KS on 1 HP. He's 1 shot going up against a Mira and a Smoke. They both have 2 of the highest rate of fire guns.
Oh, he's going to fall.
Right, he's going to reset. They do have plenty of time to make this happen. So, the thing is, though, they are attacking basement, and ladies and gentlemen, guess who the last 2 defenders are? It's a Mira and a Smoke. Now, Mira's got a C4, Smoke has 3 gas canisters. He hasn't used a single one of them yet, and while they do have plenty of time on the attacking squad, this is unlikely to go in their direction.
So, one of the things I want to point out here, just before we get down to the moment, the Mira window is now on the left wall, not the right side.
They're going to be able to get it because they have one Hibana charge left and a Thatcher to get rid of the Bandit.
But the Mira is now on the left side, not the right side, which we typically see. Is that to get a better angle on the laundry machine?
It shouldn't really affect it too much, but it could, in theory, get a better. Yeah, it likely will get a better. Yeah, no, it definitely will get a better angle. But again, it won't affect this gameplay too terribly much.
So we do have a 2-on-2 now. You can see the push coming down from the main stairs. KS is going to hold on to that diffuser, but he does have some barbed wire to go through. With about 30 seconds left to go, we're going to see Poseidon toss out 1 grenade. And the flashbangs are coming out. Now Goga's going to drop. Gas grenade gets tossed on out. He tosses 1. That looks like we might have Goga being caught inside. Shots are going through, but he gets the kill with the bearing 9. Now Raphael's going to be the last one alive. He sees the feet there of Goga as he inches away from the doorway. Now we're going to have Raphael going up against a 1-on-2. KS trying to go for the plant. Can he get it down? No, he doesn't in time. And therefore he turns around and gets the back shot. And we have Goga standing up immediately and right at the perfect time to take him down for the count. That's going to be PENTA securing this round. And they are now on the board, 2-1.
Fantastically well played there from Goga as well as Fabian. Just in general, the PENTA lineup to clutch out that round, it was looking like it was going to be a Supremacy 3-0 situation. And it absolutely strategically should have been, let's be honest. I mean, with a Smoke in a 2v2, even if it was just 1v2, Smoke left alive, he should have won that round. However, the Smoke got nullified early on by Goga, so with some very well-played positioning there, dropping down and then putting himself on the far, what was that? I suppose the far right side, for if you're looking at Smoke's perspective, I'm looking for the compass though, the far west side of those Mira windows, effectively nullifying it. If you can get your way over to the A bomb site itself, or the west side of the Mira window, or the Mira closet in general, if you can get yourself over there, you have such an advantage over whomever is playing the Mira window that you 9 times out of 10 will win that fight. So that's the sweet spot to nullify it if you don't have a Hibana charge, if you don't have a Capital Firebolt, that's how you do it. And he did just that. Afterwards, he absolutely did a great job of clutching out on the Mira. Surprised, though, to be honest, that the Mira didn't try to challenge. He knew where Goga was. He shot his feet earlier.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that he didn't try to challenge that a little bit more directly.
Even if he didn't challenge, I think the correct move would have been to still look in that direction.
Right.
He turned his back to run away back into the middle site.
You're a 3-armor dude. You can't run away like that. It's not feasible. Well, whatever the case be, I mean, It is what it is, and now we have Supremacy still leading this match. They will be thrust onto the attack of a basement defense here from PENTA. PENTA were unsuccessful in their upstairs defense. However, they are the team that mixes things up. When they lose a round on a site, they go somewhere else almost always.
I think what that allows them to do is allows their coach to go back and say, what did you miss here, and try to help them out for some. And this is giving them, okay, we were confident on the bottom bomb site and the top bomb site. Let's take the time. We failed on the top bomb. Let's go bottom bomb and let's get some analysis.
You know what it also does? I'm sure it frees up their mentality, because imagine losing on one floor and then going back to that floor like, oh, we just lost here.
Yep.
You know, and then you go to a different floor and it's like, okay, well, this is something different. We can work with this.
You have your mind off off of the mistakes you made, and you're now confident in your new play.
It's very good adaptation there from PENTA. We'll see if it's what they need to bring themselves back into this match. This match is a decider for winners or losers bracket in their group stage of the playoffs. So it's not win or lose, get eliminated from Pro League or continue on. It's, you know, just for a preferential bracket. But it is very important, to say the least, in that you have a very much an easier fight of it if you win this match.
So half the round left to go, and it looks as though Supremacy has barely made a dent into actually getting into the building.
Knock, knock.
Now, Pengu has typically played Echo on this bomb hold downstairs, and he's done some wonderful things with it. So I'm wondering to see if we are going to continue to see this yokai be useful.
Echo, when he first came out, was dubbed useless. However, he has found to be quite useful.
He's found his niche.
Yeah, that he completely is. He's the best, one of the best operators at denying a diffuser plant. Especially in this instance, he can do. He is the only other person who can do it the way that Smoke can. Smoke is the only other guy on the board that's even competes with Echo.
So right now, with 45 seconds left to go, Supremacy has barely cleared out anything. They're just saying, we're just going to focus on front lobby. If someone wants to come and flank, okay, but we'll be ready for it. Spark is inside a kitchen. I think he is.
This is the way they always do their attacks. They don't ever clear out the roamers. It's an interesting fact of Supremacy.
Plant is going down. It looks like Poseidon is going to get caught by the gas grenade and then finished off there. Ash has fallen into the site, and it looks as though she is going to, for the time being, be able to get some footage. But he has
to get pre-fired here.
There's the C4 toss. Goodbye, Bibu, as KS tosses the C4 there from the hallway. He's now going to get a couple bullets into his chest there. Another man's going to fall there. That's Zephyr. Another one again, and that's Fabi going to take him down. Sparks the last man alive, and last I saw, he's going to be above the drop hatch. He goes to the shotgun kill, tries to go for the kill, and he gets finished off there by Pengu with that bearing 9.
All right, let's talk about that for a second. Okay, so so Supremacy, what did they do? They went for a contained lobby take, but what else did they do? They took the entire round to make it happen, only pushing in the last 30 seconds. That's when they start their push. You can't do that. You haven't gotten a single pick. You're not pressuring the roamers at all. You're just maintaining control over lobby. So why is it taking so long to make that push happen?
Yeah, that, like you said, they tried for a contained lobby push, and literally, I think that's about 15% of the floor space on the map.
You can do that in 40 seconds.
Yeah.
You can make that execution happen in 40 seconds. That's all it takes. You drone out the lobby, you drone out above lobby, you push into lobby, open drop down. You could do that all in 40 seconds. And they took 3 minutes to do it. So you got to wonder what's going through their heads there. Were they just looking for the picks? Were they trying to establish angles that weren't going to happen? Because let's be honest, the reason that you hunt down the roamers isn't necessarily to establish control over the map, not just to deny, you know, the flank in the later end of the round should you get the diffuser plant, but also more importantly, to give yourself the man advantage, because on that attack it is so essential that as the attackers you actually have the man advantage, because you are going to have to throw people into the fire to die to those smokes, those echoes, those C4s, which will almost certainly come. And that needs to happen before the last 30 seconds. Otherwise, you put yourself at such a disadvantage, regardless of how many players you have on the board, that you can't win the round. You can't possibly.
I feel as though some of what Supremacy, some of their hesitation was due to the fact that they knew there were roamers, and so the roamers just being there, being known, caused them to be very hesitant, cause them to worry, cause them to be concerned.
It's absolutely worth noting that normally, I say normally, in a lot of Pro League matches, you would see those roamers in Meeting Hall actually try to get aggressive, go for the picks, you know, fight the people in lobby, but not in this instance, Penta waited patiently because they know how Supremacy play, and that absolutely played well to Penta's strengths. I mean, that is just, you could say that it was a mistake that Supremacy made. You could also say that it was just Penta reading into Supremacy and reading them like a book.
I think it was Penta all the way.
Right.
I think that they had they know their opponent on this map. Yes, they were down 2-0 at the start, but they're seeming to pick themselves back up, and now it's 2-2.
Right now, and being 2-2 as it is, we are going to be seeing an upstairs defense from Supremacy now. Penta going thrust back onto the attack, and we'll see exactly how they choose to handle this. It looks like it's going to be a straight armory take, which is okay, I want to say we have seen it, but Supremacy's take was kind of all over the place. They had pressure on every little vein on this last time they attacked this particular bomb site. So this is the first hard armory take we have seen in this match.
Now, I think what we're trying to see here, or at least Eunice is trying to see, is who's going to be inside of the meeting hall or the attic, but also who's going to be in master bedroom, because he wants to rush in there. Raphael, though, is going to be that bandit inside of the attic, forcing his way, looking his way down the rest of the corridor towards that master bedroom. Ash is still trying to draw out some attention here. Still a minute 10 left to go on the board.
Seems like Penta's, as I say that, Fabian's going to pick off Zephyr. I was about to say, it seems like Penta's suffering from the same problem. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, just leave that thought in your head, because Penta's like, I don't want to hear it. It is now a 3-on-5, still 60 seconds, 55 to go. Spark is trying to come around for the flank, but KS is holding on to that rotation. So KS is now on the left side of that door, looking for Spark to come on through. We already have, I believe that is Eunice here in the side of the attic. Bibu, however, is inside of the A site with that heartbeat sensor. He knows that no one's trying to push in from the west corridor, so Fabian will take out Spark as he tries to come around. Looks like the plan from Goga. He's going to peek on up. Panga, though, will take him down for the count, and now we've got Poseidon dropping Goga. One man left alive is going to be Poseidon, and 1-on-4, 20 seconds left to go. Now, he doesn't necessarily need to kill all 4, but he does need to stop that diffuser from getting planted, and that's exactly what he's trying to do. Now, he is going to be trapped here because Poseidon is tucked away in the bed. Fabian's outside of the big window. He's got to stand up at the right time. He goes for the kill, and he gets it. He's got 2 more left to go. He's going to deal with a shotgun close range, but Case is there to get the headshot. And that's going to be Penta finally coming up on this round, 3-2 now.
Nice shot, KS, to lock things out there. So what I was about to say there is it seems like Penta's suffering from the same problem Supremacy is suffering from, whereby they are setting themselves outside the site, going for, like, prepping themselves to take into the site, and then not doing anything until they finally push in the last 30 seconds. However, and this is the main crucial difference that you guys may have noticed between Penta and Supremacy that is giving Penta, I have to say, a distinct leg up. On attack, they hunt roamers. Supremacy doesn't. They don't hunt the roamers. They just they put the roamers in a corner, they point guns at them, and they wait. And the thing about that is it doesn't work against Penta because Penta knows that you're waiting for them. They're not going to pressure because they know they don't have to. And every single time, the roam game from Penta, while it doesn't seem like it's doing anything, it does. It wastes a tremendous amount of time. It forces Supremacy into a corner whereby they can only really, all they can do is push into the site. And without a man advantage, that's not feasible.
So we talked about it, I think, before Cafe, or maybe after Cafe. We talked about how old meta is coming back into the mix from time to time, and that is causing some we'll call it chaos when trying to go against an older meta. And you called Penta one of those teams that stays in the middle, doesn't go all the way back old school, doesn't do the new front. They do everything very well. And here's the Frost coming out. That's what I'm trying to mention here.
Go on.
No, I was going to say that the Frost coming out is one of those plays. You typically don't see a Frost too much. If you do, it's going to be on a map like this where you're going to have a lot of repelling in, and it's something that a lot of teams forget and don't expect anymore.
And on that same note, what I was talking about earlier is Penta doesn't always, as the roamers, they don't always play passively. That's not always their agenda, but they've obviously read into Supremacy. And they know that if they play passively as roamers, they will just waste all of the time in a round. So when we talk about Penta staying in the middle, that's what that is, right there.
Now it looks as though Goga took a couple bullets. I'm not quite sure from where. Oh, it might have been from the window outside, potentially downstairs.
Poseidon was on his drone, so I'm not entirely sure as well. But all the same, this is actually, we were talking about passive roaming. This is some pretty aggressive roaming coming out for Penta right now. 2 players in the tower. They are actively attempting to deny a B window take here, which is forcing Supremacy to adjust their stratagem entirely. They have switched it up to now a main window take. They have completely avoided the big tower, whereas 15 seconds ago, they had 2 people prepped to go into it.
Yeah, and I think what Penta's doing right now is they're realizing, okay, if Supremacy is going to take 2 minutes to execute a strategy, we'll take one of those, we'll take that extra minute, that first minute of them, think that they let them do the strategy, then rotate it around, force them to change their strategy up, and that's what they're doing. They're now going for this big window. They're going to go backstairs through the small tower.
And see, what's happening here in this matchup is Supremacy are winning some of these rounds, but it seems like Penta's just kind of playing them like a fiddle. They really do have Supremacy's number, and it doesn't seem like Supremacy is ready to contend with this. As look what's happening right now. The time is just dwindling away. They're not. Wow, they actually have a roamer hunter. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, guys. Okay, Zephyr is downstairs looking for Goga, but it doesn't look like he's gonna find him. Goga is pushing all the way back into the tower, and that's just gonna make his time down here fruitless.
Now that is a good Valkyrie camera. That's going to be the drone hole inside a meeting hall facing those north windows. This is going to allow Goga to peek on out, looks for someone there on the connector balcony, doesn't spot anyone, so says, okay, they're going to be that big window. They have to be. They're not on north windows. They're not on the connector. They're pushing either
not pushing from Armory, they're not pushing from Master. That means they have to be, like you said.
Backstairs, big window. That's it. That's where they're going to focus their attack. Bibu, however, does say bye-bye to Fabian and KS, dropping 2 of them. This could actually go in Supremacy's favor, as Poseidon's going to drop 1, and it looks like we are going to have Zephyr finally fall to Goga. Bibu, however, is going to go in a little engagement here in the bottom of the backstairs. It looks as though he will not get the target, but he does hold on to the diffuser. Now Supremacy is up in a man count, 2 men to 4 here with 15 seconds left to go. Penta's going to be, that's Pengu. Inside, he's going to drop the smoke grenade onto Raphael, but then taken out by Bibu. That's a 3K for him. Goga, last man alive, trying to get 3 guys killed. Now last time, we saw this not necessarily go in favor of Supremacy in a 3-on-1, but that was against the Blackbeard and Pengu on Consulate. However, we will have Poseidon trying to down him in for the count, and we will have Supremacy, regardless of all the odds that we were just talking about, come out on top of this round. It's now 3-3.
So you know what I'm noticing here? I'm noticing a reoccurring theme. Supremacy take way too much time to execute. They don't hunt roamers, and those 2 things put them at a tremendous disadvantage. However, when they actually choose to go, they win their fights so decisively. They have a lot of skill. They're taking too much time to implement it. They are trying not to risk anything at all, ever. They are inching their way forward time and time again. And I feel like if Penta were getting a little bit more aggressive, maybe they would be able to capitalize on top of that. However, it is what it is. Both these teams playing very slow. Supremacy are put at the advantage there, as that is their native environment. And again, I'm going to be honest, like when Supremacy just puts their foot on the gas, like they put themselves in a tremendously good position. I mean, they're so good at just pushing it to the site. I don't know why they don't do it more often. I don't know why they take so much time on their takes.
Yeah, I mean, you had mentioned it before. Against a very slow-paced team, if you can apply fast pressure from the opposing force, you're likely to get the advantage. And we saw this here, that Penta is also playing very conservatively, playing very slowly from time to time. So if Supremacy steps it up like they did on the last round, it's possible that they can take this home.
This equally is also a very tactical match, to say the least. I mean, that play that we saw from Penta, putting those 2 people in tower like you talked about, that cut off a lot of time for Supremacy, as well as a lot of options. And Supremacy wisely didn't try to contest with those 2 players in tower, as that would have likely put them at a severe disadvantage and caused them to lose that round, which would have resulted in a 4-3 or 4-2 situation right now, effectively putting us into a very, 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 very much Penta-sided map.
Now I saw Fabian give a little love tap here to Spark, chopping him for 10 health, and he will not get the second one there, but unfortunately for Spark, he's going to start at the round with 90 health. Now here we have Penta. They're already on the north windows rappel. They're taking no time whatsoever to just get on in. Now he's going to rappel on in. He actually spots the headshot, but he misses it. That was like a perpendicular shot there. What happened? Zephyr just magically able to get the kill there onto Eunice, trying to go for a very quick rush, and it did not go in his favor. Therefore, Pengu will take on the shots there onto Spark, as he will be downed off inside of the middle dorms. KS now. He will drop down Bibu for the count. That's going to be Pulse taken out of the matter. 4-on-3 as Zephyr still trying to challenge Fabian, who moved on in. He's going to have to take a couple seconds to reload, goes next to the reinforced wall, tries to re-engage onto Zephyr. He'll be injured and finished off by Blackbeard. That's Pengu. Now a 2-on-4 here, and we could have this round going in the hands of Penta. Now there's been so much engagement at the top floor, which oddly enough, is counterintuitive because the diffuser or the bomb site is downstairs. I'm thinking the bomb site's upstairs the whole time, and I'm like, wait a second, we've got someone in meeting hall, and there's some yellow bomb markers underneath.
So it is a 2 versus 4. However, we talked about this before. It's a smoke and a Mira versus 4. A smoke with 3 smoke charges left and a nitro cell on this Mira. However, the Mira's going for the flake. This might be completely unexpected. I wouldn't expect it.
I would not expect it either, and it was a 2-on-2 previously. Now it's a 4-on-2, so hopefully we will see Supremacy come out of this on top. We've got Poseidon still trying to get waste as much time as possible, get as much time on his side as possible. Used one of his gas cannons. He had 2 left. Raphael, though, coming around. He's going to tag one, goes for another, looks for another through the
Doesn't see the one in the front door.
The front door doesn't see him either. And now it's a 3-on-2. You have got the C4 used up. Position's given away. The flank is given away. That's going to force Raphael to go down back stairs, come on through the kitchen corridor, and he's going to have to make a more headstrong approach now.
Who was that at front door?
I am not quite sure, but now KS and Pengu are down at the stairs. You do have one member that is going to be Fabian, who's all the way at the top. Looks like one's getting injured by the smoke grenade. That's diffuser falling. You know Blackbeard's hurt and the diffuser is not in his hands. So now you've got Raphael trying to come around, but right above him is still Fabian. No, he's kind of coming around the red corridor. He's coming around from the backside. Now Poseidon's going to sit here with a shotgun in hand, drops him down for the count. Last man alive is going to be Blackbeard. He's got to move over. This is actually will go into the hands of Supremacy from a 4-on-2 down to a 2-0. Supremacy will take this round and then go up 4-3. Match point and series point in the grasp and in the line of sight of Supremacy.
A fantastic clutch from Supremacy and a tremendous throw from Penta. We have to be honest. I mean, that Mira walked down, 3 armor, walked down the main lobby stairs, killed someone, and then with somebody standing in the front door, a Blackbeard no less, walked away unscathed and managed to clutch out the round. I mean, you have to afford credit to that smoke as well for playing a tremendous hold on the site itself. However, if that Mira had been picked off, it would have been a 3 versus 1, and there would have been way more options for the attackers.
I'm curious as to maybe there was a Valk cam or something. I was like, how does Smoke know to just prone and look at the doorway? He knows there's Blackbeard in the corner. I'd be thinking, okay, let me make sure that Blackbeard's not going to pick up that diffuser and go for the plant. Instead, he takes 5-10 seconds to actually get in position for the twitch that's coming around from behind.
Could have been a camera. Could have been.
Agreed. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's good placement. It's good information that their team is giving him.
Yeah, it's on the note of information, you could clearly see that Supremacy has better communication in that particular round, as again, Penta didn't capitalize on that Mira being at the bottom of lobby stairs. I mean, that is an obvious lapse in communication right there. Someone obviously is screaming something, and it's being incoherent, and the other guy's not hearing it, and it's just miscommunication. Supremacy, on top of that, on the other hand, did manage to bring that round into their favor. Now, like you said, we are in such a precarious position for Penta. The previous season's champions are now up against a team that came out of Challenger League from last season, now only just joining Pro League, has put them on the 3rd map, and not only that, in a checkmate position on match point in the 3rd map. That is impressive to say. That is just amazing. I mean, even if Supremacy somehow loses, even if Penta come back right now, win all the next 3 rounds, and put themselves in a victory position, Supremacy have played amazingly.
They certainly have. And I mean, Supremacy, even like you said, if they lose this, they should not walk away with their heads down.
Oh, gosh,
yes, there were mistakes, but both teams made mistakes, and the other teams capitalized on them.
Right.
So as hard as we've been on Supremacy tonight, they have definitely.
We've been on Penta too. Don't
we have been. I mean, that round together, they definitely made some mistakes there.
Oh, Pengu stepping up though, stepping outside as well, and picking off Zephyr to start things off here. That's the aggression we need to see from Penta. They're making it happen here.
And they are. It's like they're tunneling the force that they need. Bibu, though, will take down Eunice.
That's a little bit too aggressive, Eunice.
Yeah, tone it down a bit, dude.
You could be aggressive, but not too aggressive, right, Eunice?
It's all about finding that perfect balance.
Right.
And as we see that, Bibu's going to move on down the main stairwell. After he finishes droning out a little bit, Pengu realizes, okay, there's a drone coming my way. He's going to look for someone to come on down with that yokai in the main lobby.
Throwing stun grenade.
He's saying, okay, drop hatch getting opened up. And here it is. He's just going to wait for someone to move in forward.
So we're seeing Supremacy yet again do a very contained lobby take. Now, it might work to their advantage. Actually, no, I stand corrected. They actually have taken control of Kitchen this time. They are hunting those roamers. Not that I think there are any. Actually, there is. Goga is roaming right now. But Supremacy is on top of this. That might be all they need to put themselves into victory position here.
Now it looks as though we will have Bibu getting downed off by Pengu, but then traded off immediately by Raphael. We're going to have the diffuser still in the hands of Poseidon. Looks like he's going to try to come on down. Now Goga gives away his position by using that C4, but I don't quite think the attackers are going to pay attention to it.
The stairs are open.
Another plant going down here. It looks as though he will try to go for it. Looks like we have the kill there from Goga, top of the stairs. That's one going down. Now he's going to have to get away. Looks like the gas grenade there will finish him off. C4 from Raphael, or sorry, Poseidon will go down by C4. Raphael can be the last man alive. He's here inside of the classroom looking for Goga. Now he's going to move away, gets his position away, and that's going to be Penta. And no, he missed it. However, he will be finished off there by the collapse on KS. Diffuser will get destroyed, and we will be headed into overtime now.
A fantastic clutch from Penta. Woo! These rounds, man. This is crazy. So what we saw there was the same thing that we just saw from Supremacy in the previous round, which is an amazing clutch onto even after the diffuser is planted by the remaining defenders. And I'm going to be honest, you have to attribute that victory to Pengu. If he had not peeked out and gotten those 2 kills as aggressively as he did, as an Echo, no less, as an Echo, guys, with his secondary. If he had not done that, then we would have almost certainly seen a Supremacy victory there, as they would have had 2 more warm bodies above the drop down, ready to receive that Valkyrie from above and then defend the diffuser into the remainder of the round. Now we do have overtime, and we will be seeing Supremacy go on defense first into the basement.
So one of the things that Penta has done on this map previously, and I've noticed that they've altered it, was they would normally have 4 roamers. 2 up top, 2 in the middle, and then they would keep Pengu as Yokai, or as the Echo, downstairs. They've since changed that up to also put Smoke down, so that they only have 3 roamers. And I think that's allowing Pengu to have more confidence instead of being weary of, okay, are they pushing in through the back, the red tower, the blue hall, going into the main lobby? There's too much for a single person down there.
I think what it is that Pengu just realized that what needs to be happening in these rounds is that somebody needs to press Shift W and get kills. Because neither team is making that happen consistently. And that is what is causing them to lose these rounds. That is what's putting both of them in the disadvantage, is when they play scared. Like what we saw there. The diffuser got planted, right? There were still 3 attackers left up, but they played scared. We had a Thermite in classroom. He wasn't trying to refrag his teammates. He was hiding in classroom. I mean, Pengu holding the Shift W, getting aggressive, getting those picks was all that was necessary for his team to win that round, and it definitely showed.
Well, the Shift W on Echo is more like a walk for any other operator.
It's like just a normal W on Ash.
It's like a slow motion run. It's a slow motion run, that's what it is. But no, Eunice has made his way up here into the attic, trying to go around for a very quick push. He's now looking in towards the meeting hall, but he's got Jaeger to deal with. Jaeger does get droned out, however, Eunice is still waiting for that right time to move forward. We're going to have Goga trying to go. Bibu going to get very close. Goes for the shots there on a KS. He goes and gets him down, but not killed off net. And he will be finished here as Eunice does drop and takes him out. Now we will have KS getting picked back up. Another failed opportunity from the defending squad here, unfortunately. With 2 minutes to go, we still have plenty of time for a lot of this to unfold. Now I say KS should be getting picked up. Hopefully, there he's getting picked up right now, so he's going to be back on his feet in no time. Spark, however, will get droned out at the bottom of the stairs of the laundry, as Goga and Eunice are now making sure that the drop hatches have been opened.
So the attackers have full control in this situation, and all they really need to do is just make that push into the site. I don't see all 4 of the players, however. No, all 4 of the defenders are on the basement, which means they don't have to worry about any roamers leading into the rest of this round. All they have to do is poke holes in this defense, establish lines of sight, and wait patiently.
Now, Spark is in the same position that Pengu was previously to try to get a shot on someone going to the top of the stairs. Last time that was Ash that got destroyed, and now it's going to be Spark's turn to try to get a kill for himself. Hopefully he won't get droned out in time, because that's going to be a key position to be in.
Ooh, we might see a grenade come down onto Raphael. Oh, but those shots onto Spark.
He decides to leave his post underneath of the primary drop hatch, and Fabian is there to collapse onto him. Nade's going to go down and get rid of some of that barbed wire as he falls in. Now that just got enough time. Another kill there from Fabian as he takes out Zephyr. We've got 2 members left. Just Poseidon, last man alive. This could be it here for Supremacy in this first overtime round. He's got into the cubby. He's been called out. He's got about 30 health, goes for the kill, but KS is there to drown him for the kill. And that is PENTA taking home the first round of overtime.
Well cleared from PENTA, and you could see there, PENTA is shifting gears. Previously in this entire matchup, they have been playing extremely slow. And guess what just happened? In the last round, and then now this round we just watched, they are getting extremely aggressive. We saw Junis come straight into attic, hunt that player down hiding in the attic, and force him down into meeting hall. Then right after, we had 2 players following that up from tower immediately, and then Junis dropped at the precise moment he needed to finish off the Jaeger. This is some great coordination, some great aggressive play from PENTA in the last legs of this race. And I think that it is exactly what is necessary for either of these teams to come out on top. We will find out though, however, as PENTA is thrust now onto their last basement defense. As their previous basement defense was not in overtime, they are able to go down here as they see fit.
And what I find odd is that, if I remember correctly, both teams for their first defensive holds chose to go upstairs.
Yeah, I know,
and that's
right?
actually where Supremacy won. Supremacy won the first 2 rounds.
And then they went downstairs. It is a little interesting, but I'm sure they have some sort of reason going on in their comms right now about why that it might be. Maybe it's trying to mix up the operator pick. Maybe it's just trying to do the unexpected in general. Maybe, despite their victory upstairs, they do feel more comfortable downstairs. Maybe they feel like they can counter what PENTA is bringing to the table. Whatever the case be, that's the decision they made, and it's the same decision PENTA has made now on 5-4. Supremacy is going to have to do something pretty amazing to bring this back. What they did last time was actually really interesting. They adjusted. They put players to watch flanks, to hunt roamers in the kitchen. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough, as they were just not... They just weren't able to get enough frags on the guys in the site, I'm going to be honest. Bibu now going to push his way into the tower, going to look for his opportunity into the attic.
Yeah, and so Bibu has gotten in very quickly. You said before that they were taking their good old time. It does not look like that's going to be the case here for Supremacy anymore. Well, Zephyr worked his way into dining as Bibu's here now inside of the red tower. PENTA's
turning up, and I think Supremacy's just responding in kind. This is an interesting position here from KS. This might actually catch him. He might get caught off guard here as he's about to be droned out.
So now Fabian, Fabian gets droned out. I don't think they did spot Goga or Eunice though. Goga's actually going to be at the top of the back stairs. Nade coming down right towards Fabian. Boom! He will go down as Bibu cooks the grenade perfectly. Lands right at the feet of Fabian and flies him forward. Now that's going to be 1 man down here for the defenders. However, Poseidon will go taken out by KS. That is now man count back to even.
However,
4-4.
It was the Smoke who was taken out. At the same time, it was also a Hibana on the attacking side. That means there might be one. Oh no, unreinforced dropdown's not going to matter. So the man advantage is definitely in the attacker's favor here, given that Smoke is such a crucial operator on this particular defense.
Yep.
There's still, I think, a roamer in west side.
There's still Goga, and that's going to be the C4 from him, taking him out. That's Bibu falling. That's going to be the sledge, so now maybe the drop hedges won't get opened up. You do have Raphael. He's going to be here looking like, I think that's actually a box. I think they're going for a construction push.
Oh no, I think this might be the end for Supremacy. Going for a construction push when in a man deficit is really risky business.
Now it looks as though I think the wall is soft, so that means they will not get that opened up because the thermite charge is just going to get easily shot through.
Oh no, and there's murder holes all along the floor. They've invested where they can't win. Well, I mean, there would have to be a miracle for them to win this.
Now, we have seen some capitalization on some oversight before, so Raphael has made his way into the box. KS is on the right side, you've got Pengu on the left, and you do have Goga trying to come around for the flank. More shots coming through, but the Yokai is going to disorient the Blackbeard. Goga's now working his way through main hall. He's going to go through meeting hall very shortly, and he's probably going to run into Zephyr to finish him off. He's going to kill off that Claymore, then give himself a little bit of time. He's now deciding, okay, 25 seconds, I need to make a push now. Raphael here going for the shots there onto Pengu. He's missing his target, same with Spark. This is going to come down to the wire, and this is all in favor of PENTA now. Goga dropping down Zephyr, last 2 alive, they know they're in box. Raphael will go down his ult to Spark at a 1-on-4. 10 seconds left to go, and we are going to see Spark get inside a box. The Claymore drops down 1. He's going to go push in to the side. It's going to be KS. He's going to get that final kill, and PENTA's going to come out on top. Eunice with that final kill there onto Spark, and PENTA will take home this series in a fabulous fashion.
So, we talked about it earlier. Let's talk about it again. Supremacy brought PENTA, this previous season's champions, to the final round of the final map. Wait, maybe not the final round. The almost final round of the final map. They brought him all the way to the end, and they played superbly. That was a fantastic showing from Supremacy, and despite the fact that Penta will now walk away with this victory, there is still a chance for Supremacy to bring it back later in the Pro League, as they will only be knocked down to the loser bracket.
So